are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Top of the morning to you. How the heck are you, Miller and Moulton? The NFL season gets underway tonight. Thanks so much for listening here on the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. How you doing? You made it. You did it.
We did it.
Yes.
We did it.
We
Not
did it.
You, I, Felipe, all of us. We did it. We made it.
Yes. Tonight. Still another 14 hours. Tonight. Bills and Rams. One team won the Super Bowl last year. Another team's winning the Super Bowl this year. That's how it's being billed, baby.
Got that right.
See? He's so fired up. He's throwing in sound effects at 6:02.
That have nothing to do with what we're talking about, but it doesn't matter. He's got buttons over there to
I
push.
know. It's very dangerous. Okay, Ric Flair. All right. Take it easy there, big fella. Listen, you know it's a big deal when a Dolph fan's getting fired up for a Bills game. I mean, that's when you know it's big.
Well, I mean, we've waited this long, and tonight we get to watch the Super Bowl champs play, and they're going to play the Rams.
Ha ha.
It's done, though. It's over.
It's over.
Yep.
This conclusion is even more obvious in the college football season, David, because we have Alabama and Georgia and Ohio State. The NFL, we just have Buffalo, apparently.
So the sarcastic question of the day should be, which team is more of a lock to win the championship, Alabama or the Buffalo Bills?
Bingo. And we are guilty of it, too, because we made our picks yesterday, and we both have the Buffalo Bills winning the Super Bowl.
Yes, we do, baby. Yes, we do. We're applying the pressure, too. No more excuses. Come on, at the beginning of the season, anybody got a better roster than you? Now, others have one in the area code, but come on now. Is there anybody in which you go, oh, no, the Bills got nothing for them? No. It's time to win, baby. No more excuses. Time to win.
I don't recall, and David, you're way better at this than I have ever even planned on being, thought about being, or want to be for that matter, but I don't recall it being this one-sided Super Bowl champs in September. A little bit of Tampa and Brady's first year, they acted like it, but there were still others, and I've never seen where Vegas sets a team to be the Super Bowl champs, and no one's arguing with it.
It is a little surprising also because it's a team that obviously has not won. I mean, they haven't been to the game in damn near 30 years. They've been to one AFC championship game here recently. But yes, they are the pick. I mean, you know what they are. They're the Packers. I mean, you know, the Packers got their one, but for most of the last 12 years, who's been the pick in the NFC? It's been Green Bay, and they haven't even been back to the game. And they've had some great regular seasons. I mean, the year after they won the Super Bowl, they went 15-1. Didn't even win a playoff game. I mean, that's the territory the Bills are in right now. It's if you don't get to the Super Bowl, you've had a disappointing season. Welcome to being the New York Yankees, by the way. If you don't get to the World Series, it's a disappointing season. I mean, we'll let you guys come back and play next year if you get to the World Series and lose. Okay? We don't necessarily want to give you a raise outside of Aaron Judge, but we'll let you come back and wear the uniform if you get to the World Series. All right? Anything short of that is a disappointment. We want to get rid of all of you.
But as you just mentioned, part of the Yankees' pressure comes from within because of all the championships that they've won.
Right.
And here are the Buffalo Bills with a similar amount of pressure. You could argue as much, if not more pressure, because of the league they're in and the focus that we put on the National Football League. For a franchise that's won absolutely nothing. The pressure's all on the outside. And I'm sure it's there from within as well. But this is nationally the entire football world crowning a team before the season who's never won a thing.
Right. By the way, they're not crowning the team that's hosted 4 straight AFC championship games.
Hell, there are some people that don't even have them winning their division.
That's right. And those yahoos, by yahoos, I mean me. I've only won it 6 straight years. I mean, listen, it's kind of like the Pirates beating the Mets the other day. They'd lost 8 straight home games. And I'm like, at some point, you really do win. Unless you're the Miami Marlins. But that's a whole other story. So it is fascinating. And meanwhile, in the NFC, it's the same 3-4 meals. And we don't know which one's going to be best at the end. I mean, is anybody picking someone to go to the Super Bowl not named Green Bay, Tampa Bay, or Los Angeles? I mean, you have to dig long and hard to find even a 49ers pick. And they were 6 minutes away from the game last year. But, they're playing a first-time quarterback this year, Trey Lance.
So no one from the AFC West is a contender.
No one from the AFC is a contender,
Right.
Felipe.
I mean, if you take a look
as good as the AFC is, and we've talked about the depth of the AFC for months now.
But it's the Bills that are considered a half a step or a step above everybody. And, Kansas City, Baltimore, the Chargers, the Raiders, whoever it is that you like, the Dolphins, the Bengals again, that they're nice. They're good. They're going to be good. I even think they're going to win a playoff game or what have you, but they're not going to the Super Bowl. It's Buffalo, baby. Bills are going. The road's going through Orchard Park.
It's destiny.
This is the early 90s again. That's what this is. Where when you look back, in the AFC in those years, Cowher got off to a really good start running the Steelers. And the Dolphins were very good in the early 90s still. That was the last run that Shula put together. They had 92 through 94. They had a big 3-year run there. Bobby Ross and the Chargers even, 92 through 94. There were some good franchises in the AFC. Houston Oilers with Warren Moon were knocking on the door. Montana goes to the Chiefs in 93 and 94. You had Elway and the Broncos who were always knocking on the door. And yet, it was Buffalo, baby. All those other teams were just kind of patted on the head. You guys are cute. You're fun. You're entertaining. You've got some talent. We may put you on Monday Night Football a couple times. But come on, you're not going to the Super Bowl.
And obviously, with the Chiefs run they've had, with the Bengals last year, we are just dismissing all of that and moving Buffalo very quickly
Boom.
To the top of that AFC pyramid.
Yeah, oh, yeah. They're in the loft, Mark. You ever been to, did you ever, you go on a trip and there's a bunch of you and you're staying in a place and there's a bunch of rooms and there's a lot of space and some people are going to have rooms and some people are going to have sleeping bags on the floor and what have you. And then there's a loft. There's really only room for one person or one couple. And who's got the status amongst the group because they're in the loft. Mm-hmm.
And that's where the Bills are, looking down on everyone else in the AFC.
Yep.
And what is fascinating is that they didn't make the reservation. They don't have the most status right now. Yet somehow they're the prettiest, and we just gave them the loft.
Everybody else down there is like, hey, we're going to get something to eat. You guys want anything? That couple that's in the loft, Oh, where are you going? Oh, we're going here. Yeah, I'll take a ham and cheese omelet. Honey, what do you want?
Who gets to go breakfast?
Well, that's true. Maybe, they slept in. Maybe we are, getting close to lunch.
I'm not bringing back. I don't care who they are. And I don't care how pretty they are. Telling me to bring them back breakfast. No. Get your ass out of the loft, get in the car, and come on with us. If not, you're not eating.
They're the Bills, damn it. Okay, they're sleeping in. The Ravens, all right. The Chiefs even, all right. The Chiefs were the ones that rented the damn loft.
And somehow didn't get the best room.
They're the ones that, know the code and got through the security gate and everything. They didn't get the loft.
Tyreek's not bringing back breakfast for the Bills.
No, in fact, that's what the guy at the gate said. Said, hey, Pat, great to see you. Jason, what's going on? Hey, where's Tyreek? He didn't come this year? That's why Josh and whomever is up in the loft. That's how it's working this year. There's a new cool kid.
No, and they got a Vaughn in the offseason too while a Tyreek left.
Right.
Make the other side of the ball even look a little better.
Right. In fact, Vaughn's showing up a day late going, hey, guys. Listen, I've won a Super Bowl here. In fact, I've won 2. You guys have designed this loft all wrong. Let me show you how it's done. Miller and Moulton. Obviously fired up. What, 200 plus days? Something like that we waited? I mean, 7 months, pretty much to the day. I mean, I don't know about you, but that seems like a long time.
And with that, we'll talk a little football on the show today.
What?
Imagine that. Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network, will join us in the 7 o'clock hour. Roy Cummings to talk Bucs in the 8 o'clock hour. Howard Simon works in Buffalo. He'll talk Bills for us also in the 8 o'clock hour. And Dr. Roto to finish up the Great 8 with your fantasy questions at 8:38. Sounds like a pretty damn good show.
Wow, it's almost worthy of like the first day of the NFL season.
I think it is. I think that it is.
We'll ask Howard Simon there if he's already sizing up his ring. Bills fans are freaking out right now. Stop doing this to us! Sorry.
Miller and Moulton and the Bills Super Bowl championship on the Florida Sports Network.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost clubhead speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
The Chiefs will have to eat the deposit again. That's funny. Winning or hope. Pat Kerwin's mantra 15 years ago. As an NFL team, you have to provide your fan base with one of two things, winning or the hope.
What's our poll question? Who are the Bills going to play in the Super Bowl, or do the Bills make the Super Bowl?
Right.
I like what's a better guarantee, the Bills Super Bowl or Alabama? What about Alabama making the national championship
No,
game?
everybody would vote Alabama.
That's what I'm saying. You said that, and I was like, there's no way the Bills are that.
Just being sarcastic.
I know. Favorites, yes, but I don't know.
Bills are the betting favorites to win the Super Bowl. Do you think the Bills will even get there?
Sticking with my pick. Oh, Oakland. Las Vegas Raiders. Big win for the Mets.
Well, they're all big now. It is funny, though, how everybody's killing them. The Braves are 65-28, I think, in their last 93 games. 65-28. The Mets have gone 55-38, and they're being treated like they're collapsing.
What's the Dodgers record in that same span? You think better or worse?
No, nobody has a better record in the last 93 games than the Braves.
Yeah. It's insane. The Bravos.
I mean, think about it. The Braves were basically 500 on June 1st. And now they're like 36 games above 500.
The Dodgers won again, too, by the way, in case anybody cares.
Right, magic number
They're
6.
94-47.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, on pace for 108. After 106 last year. After a World Series the year before that.
Coming back.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
It's 21 minutes past the hour, top of the morning to you. Miller and Moulton here on the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. The NFL season kicks off tonight. In fact, 14 hours from this minute, the ball will be in the air at SoFi. Bills and Rams, defending Super Bowl champs, are a nearly 3-point underdog at home. Hence our monologue about how the Bills are the pick, baby. They're the it team. They're the cool kids.
And I know there have been other favorites, and we've gotten this way with other teams. It's just that the AFC is so good.
Mm-hmm. But not Bills good.
No.
Nope. They're the team. Everybody else, they're playing for gift certificates. They're playing for rice Cerrone, a year's supply.
That is the San Francisco treat, David.
Yes, it is. And maybe the Niners will play well enough where they can get some. That's about it. So, is that going to be our poll question?
Yes, absolutely. Poll question is up. The Bills are the betting favorite to win the Super Bowl. Do you think they will play in the Super Bowl?
Will they even get to the game? Something they have not done in 29 years. But they are the favorites this year. I will say they have not been the favorites since they last went. I mean, maybe they were co-favorite 94, 95, the very end of their dynastic run. But, so this is the first time that they have been anointed. And we're having some fun, obviously. But pressure's on. Super Bowl or bust, baby. Welcome to being a Green Bay Packer.
And I like your analogy of the Yankees. I mean, I think it's even more than the Packers, because the Packers are just basically picked to win the NFC. The Bills are not only picked to win the AFC, they're supposed to win the whole damn thing. At least in Green Bay's case, a lot of the times there were at least teams on the other side that were equal, if not better, as far as betting favorites go.
Tomorrow's poll question could be, who do you like to win the NFC? We'll put the big three up there, and then we could just have other. See whether or not other can win.
Just remember that when I ask you at 5:45.
I don't know. The wires don't touch very well at 5:45. By 6:45, they're
at least in the same area code.
Yeah, they're touching. Somebody's been able to tie it at the end. May not be a solid connection, but it's a connection. It works 70% of the time anyway. Miller and Moulton on this Thursday. Terrific show lined up for you. The interviews begin in a little more than an hour. Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network, Roy Cummings to talk Bucs. We'll head to Buffalo to find out whether or not we're right on the money in terms of what the expectations are. And also, we're going to talk to somebody who is going to give us an honest assessment of the Bills, which is tough to find in Buffalo. But we think we found the guy. And I do think we can start inviting now. It's going to mean a little more work on our part, but the doctor's making a house call today for the first time this year. And Thursdays at around 8:35 is when we're going to have Dr. Roto to answer your fantasy questions. And so, send them in on the text line. FSN radio is the, code word, if you will. Send it to 21,000. FSN radio to 21,000. Send us your fantasy football questions. And if you're in the Twitch chat room, well, send them in. Fire away. It's going to involve a lot of writing stuff down by us because, we get a lot of texts, a lot of comments in the Twitch room. You don't want to, have it come in an hour earlier and lose it. So,
or 2 hours earlier, as David is inviting it
right.
So early right now.
Right.
Adding a workload to the hosts that I don't know if the hosts are ready for, but we will find out.
Right. But Dr. Roto in the house every Thursday at around 8:35 and to answer your fantasy questions. So think about it and get them in. We're usually pretty good. If you ask it, we're pretty good about relaying it to Dr. Roto.
I'm fired up to talk to Roto just about some game flow of what he thinks how these games are going to go. Because you can't always predict that player A is going to have this game. But the one thing fantasy guys try to figure out is where the points are going to be. You got Green Bay and Minnesota. Trying to figure out where the points are going to be scored in week 1 in the NFL. Obviously, tonight is a game that could be a decent amount of points in as well. But where is the offense going to come in week 1? I think it's one of the hardest fantasy weeks of the year. So many unknowns. And looking forward to our chat with Roto about not only tonight's game, but about the weekend's games as well.
And I understand that it's just one game tonight and that, tomorrow it'll be for more fans, more on the precipice of the season starting and what have you. How important is week 1?
We've documented it. It's incredibly important.
So it used to be when there were only 12 teams in the playoffs, the rule of thumb was half the teams that won week 1, 8 of the 16, half of them made the playoffs, and only a quarter of the teams that lost, 4 out of 16, made the playoffs. So if you won week 1, 50% of those teams would make it. If you lost, only 25%. Last year, obviously, first time we had 2 extra playoff teams. All right. For the record mark, 9 of the 16 winners made the playoffs. 9. So a little more than half. 5 of the 16 losers made it, but 4 of the 5 lost to playoff teams. The only team last year that lost week 1 to a non-playoff team and made the playoffs, the New England Patriots, losing at home to the Dolphins. So basically the percentages were the same, but also interesting to note that amongst the losers, they were basically quality losses because 4 of the 5 losers that made the playoffs lost to playoff teams.
So games like Cowboys, Buccaneers.
You could see like who played on the opener last year.
Right. Raiders, Chargers.
There you go.
Packers, Vikings.
That's if you're buying the Vikings, which you and I are.
Well, then after that, to find other games, you got Chiefs and Cardinals. You've got Bengals and Steelers, if you actually think the Steelers have a pulse.
Or if you're thinking actually the winner is going to be a playoff team, but the loser will not.
And then obviously tonight's game with the Bills and the Rams.
Which could be both. So we had been following that over the years, the significance of week 1, in which half the winners made it and only a quarter of the losers made it. And last year, it pretty much held true. 9 of the winners made it and 5 of the losers made it. Obviously, with it being 14, the percentages are a little different, but the ratio's essentially the same. So I don't know if that impacts, you're sitting around, you're trying to pick week 1. I've always thought it's the toughest week of the season to pick winners in the NFL. I mean, Carolina started 3-0 last year, finished 5-12. I mean, September in the NFL is nuts. I mean, the Saints destroyed the Packers last year. I beat them by 5 touchdowns. Didn't make the playoffs. Packers were the 1 seed. It's week 1 is tough. I find it to be
very tough. And looking at the slate, it looks tough again this year because we have 4 or 5 games against what I think are quality teams playing quality teams. And then you've got a lot of the other, and there will be upsets.
And I think there are more upsets than a normal week, but who knows if I'm right or not. The starting 5 is next. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Cardinals, and it's in Arizona. Giants, Titans, Packers, Vikings, Chargers, Raiders, Bucs, Cowboys, Broncos, Seahawks.
Could take Denver. Could you take Denver? Sounds not good.
No.
The M&M whack. You want to know more about Dr. Roto's story? What part of it? I mean, he's been doing fantasy sports for about 15 years. He's on Fantasy Sports Channel on Sirius. He's got his own fantasy site. He's well respected in the industry.
He once lip-synced Aldo Nova's Fantasy.
See?
Another bad Canadian band there, if you were wondering.
Wow, look at Paul going really old school. Who's the Bills kicker? Mocking Scott Norwood. And do all the players have their helmets? Mocking Thurman at the start of the second Super Bowl that they were in against Washington. How was that game? I was wondering what the hell Kenneth Davis was doing starting. Especially since Thurman had just been introduced.
So I'm watching the end of the Rays game. It's all I watched.
Mm-hmm.
I happened to see that it was 1-0 in the ninth. I'm like, oh, crap, let's watch the bottom of ninth. Walks a guy.
Yep.
They bring in a pinch hitter. The guy throws 3 consecutive 100-mile-an-hour straight fastballs. The first one was a great pitch, inside part of the plate. No one's hitting it. The next 2 are fastballs, right down the middle. And he stood there with the bat on his shoulder. He obviously was looking slider. But I mean, stood there for 3 fastballs and never swung the bat and then just walked to the bench.
Yep.
Holy shit, man.
Red Sox went 0-9 at the Trop this year.
Yeah, but
Yep.
you got to swing the bat. In
Yes.
order to hit the ball,
Right.
you have to swing the bat, particularly when there's 2 strikes on you and the ball's coming right down the middle.
Yep. That's what happens when you're guessing.
Raiders, did they? Because between Rush and Tragically Hip, there's just a lot of bad music that came out of Canada. You got Triumph, which I love.
I love Triumph.
But you got Loverboy, which is awful.
What about
Yeah.
oh, go for it.
Everybody's working for the
Yeah,
weekend,
we know.
baby.
I was gonna say The Weeknd.
Is he Canadian?
He is Canadian.
He
Great.
sucks.
Don't talk about my man Abel.
That's
like
the
that.
worst.
What about
Whatever.
Isn't Drake Canadian?
Drake. I was gonna say Drake. That was
Oh,
my next
good
one.
gracious.
But Drake's
Started for the bottom. Now we're here.
yeah. Too bad he didn't though. His dad was an MC. So
A master of ceremonies?
that's Cap.
The Beebs. Yep, the defense.
There you go. I mean, you guys are making my case for me.
I'm not saying I like his music. I actually like Justin Bieber. I find him to be self-deprecating. Did you see when they roasted him?
That was
Holy
amazing.
mackerel.
The roast of Justin
Oh
Bieber.
my God, he got destroyed.
Oh, he got destroyed.
destroyed.
We're coming back.
Thanks for listening. And now, more of Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour, Miller and Moulton. Thanks for being with us. Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. A reminder, 2 hours from now, Dr. Roto to answer your fantasy football questions. Text them in, FSN Radio to 21,000, or send them in via the Miller and Moulton twitch.tv chat room. Without further ado, it is time for
The Starting Five. 5 stories you need to know. It's the Starting Five on Miller and Moulton. Here's number 1.
No more magic numbers, baby. We're just counting down the hours and the minutes. Tonight, SoFi. The Rams begin defense of their Super Bowl championship by hosting the Super Bowl favorites, the Buffalo Bills. The Rams are a home dog. Last number I saw, Buffalo favored by 2.5. Over-unders 52. Vegas basically saying 27-25, 28-25, something along those lines. The game's on NBC. Mike Tirico, Chris Collinsworth, Melissa Stark, the new broadcast team for Sunday Night Football, but they get the first game of the year. Bills, on the eve of starting their Super Bowl championship season, signed tight end Dawson Knox to a 4-year, $53+ million extension, making him one of the top 5 highest paid tight ends in the league. And that's a contract that Schultz in Dallas, Gesicki in Miami, in theory, they're looking at a Dawson Knox deal and going, well, that's what you're going to have to pay us next year when we're on the open market, just so you know. Lamar Jackson sets tomorrow. End of the day tomorrow, baby. Either we have a deal or that's it. I'm done talking.
Yep. Looks like there's not going to be a deal.
Correct. The amount of guaranteed money is the big stumbling block, reportedly. And so Lamar, if nothing changes, will play out the final year of his rookie deal. And then, then it's either let's make a deal or it's franchise tag time. Come on down. You're the next contestant on Disgruntled Employee.
And remember, all of these big quarterback contracts aren't kicking in next year. That franchise money is not what you think it would be for next year. He would lose money going franchise free agency, a lot of money.
I think the franchise tag for this year for a quarterback's 30. Because you're right, those big money extensions have not kicked in yet. Some of them kick in next year, but many kick in the following. Remember how it was just 2 days ago that Zach Wilson, the Jets' young quarterback, was like, there's still a chance I play. Jets came out yesterday and
he sounded, for the record, in the press conference, that's exactly how he sounded.
He is young in many ways. The Jets now say, Zach Wilson's not playing until week 4. Joe Flacco is going to start the first 3 games of the year. Say this right now. I mean, Zach Wilson's going to be 20 games into his NFL career. And he will have missed almost half of them when he takes the field week 4. I mean,
maybe he's got someone to give a little TLC while he's out.
Well, he very well might. He's pretty good at that. Hey, to baseball, how about them Rays? They've only lost like 5 times in the last month. They beat the Red Sox again, 1-0. I think they went 9-0 at home against Boston this year. That's pretty good. But they lost a half a game to the Yankees, and we told you they would. Yankees were playing the Twins. I mean,
I thought maybe, just maybe with the rain out, that there was a chance for a split doubleheader. No. I get it. If they're playing consecutive days, it's a foregone conclusion. But a lot of these doubleheaders end up being split. I thought maybe that was a break for the Rays, that the Yankees game got postponed 2 nights ago.
Well, and it should have been. Twins were up 3-0 in the first game and then totally botched extra innings and ended up losing in extra innings in game 1, 5-4, then lost the nightcap 7-1. A couple of noteworthy items. Judge homered in the first of 2. That made 4 straight games the Judge had homered in. That's 55. For you Sammy Hagar fans out there, just Judge is at double nickel. And by the way, the Yankees, check the standings. They've won 82-plus games this year. That means they're guaranteed a winning season. That's their 30th straight winning season. 1992. George Herbert Walker Bush was president the last time the Yankees had a losing season. All right? I mean, Yankee fans, won the World Series 13 years, 30 straight winning seasons. It's the 3rd longest streak in North American pro sports history of the major sports.
I quickly tried to check this. Someone on our Twitch chat room put the stat in, and I think I backed it up because it had before this year with the sweep of the Twins. Since 2002, the Yankees are 115-39 against the Twins.
Now, think about that. That's only 154 games. That's not even a full major league season, and they're already at 115. They got 8 more games to go, which meant if the Yankees and the Twins played a 162-game season, the Yankees would go something like 120-42.
I'm sorry, Twins fan, but that's hysterical.
5-4-7-1, Yankees sweep the doubleheader. They're 5 up on the Rays, 4 in the loss column. Those 2 teams are going to play a 3-game series Friday, Saturday, Sunday in the Bronx. It's their last 3 meetings of the year. Yankees with 1 win will probably do enough to win the East. Mark, Toronto ended up taking 3 out of 4 from your Orioles. 4-1 the final, Toronto. They have a 4.5 game lead for the wild card. However, Jays and Orioles have 2 more 3-game series to play, including the final 3 games of the year in Baltimore.
And Tampa and Toronto, I believe, have 8 left. So Toronto's got a pretty difficult schedule the rest of the way.
But Toronto 4.5 up on the Orioles in the battle for the final playoff spot in the American League. By the way, the White Sox, liking life without La Russa, they beat Seattle 9-6. They're tied with the Twins for second. They're both 2 games back of the Guardians. Both the Twins and White Sox got some help with Kansas City scoring 2 in the 9th to beat the Indians. Oh, I'm sorry, the Guardians 2-1. Cleveland's lead is 2 in the Central. Seattle, by the way, a game back of Tampa in the battle for 4-5, and then Toronto a half a game back of Seattle. So those 3 teams separated by a game and a half. Mets swept the Pirates. So both the Yankees and Mets got doubleheader sweeps yesterday. 5-1 and 10-0 were the finals. Mets gained a half a game on the A's because they only played a single game. They won their 7th in a row. They beat Oakland 7-3. Over under 5,000 for a Wednesday matinee. What do you say?
Over.
I think just over.
Felipe, you might have won both showcases. 53-32. I love paid attention to A's attendance all year. Mark, there's, stat of the day. Dan Patrick likes to do stat of the day. Dun, dun. Heading into the 9th inning last night in St. Louis, Major League Baseball teams this year who trailed by 4 or more runs had 0 wins and 817 losses. Until the bottom of the 9th in St. Louis, where the Cardinals scored 5 times to rally from a 5-1 deficit and win 6-5 to increase their lead over the Brewers to 9.5 because Milwaukee got doubled up in Colorado 8-4. That division's over. And with the Brewers losing, both the Phillies and Padres won.
And I know the Padres are in the playoffs, but the Brewers trade Hader and both teams have gone south.
Hader went like 3 weeks until he got his first save.
Right.
He's actually, in the last week, finally.
The Padres have started to pick it up, but for the first 3 weeks of this, both teams just said, hey, how can we screw this up more?
But the Phillies and Padres both won. Phillies beat the Marlins 4-3. Miami's lost 9 in a row. But, Mark, for the first time in 10 games,
hey,
the Marlins scored more than 2 runs. I mean, they lost, but that's okay. That's all right.
I mean, they lost, but
hey, they scored 3. Padres 6-3 over Arizona. Both the Phillies and Padres have a 4-game lead over Milwaukee for the final playoff spot in the National League. Houston beat Texas in 10 innings 4-3. Their magic number's 15. They have an 11-game lead in the West. Dodgers reduced their magic number to 6, beating the Giants 7-3. Detroit scored 2 in the 9th to beat the Angels 5-4, despite Trout and Ohtani homering in the same game for the 8th time this year. Trout with 32, Ohtani with 33. Hope they enjoy their final month together as teammates.
Oh, you think he's getting traded in the offseason?
Ohtani?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely. He's basically told them, I'm not coming back.
I understand.
Reds over the Cubs 7-1. Quick injury news, Max Scherzer and on the IL for the Mets, Starling Marte, a broken right middle finger for the Mets. Sure the Braves aren't going to win these?
that's not good.
With all of the injuries, it is remarkable how well the Mets have played this year, despite the pitching injuries, the injuries on the field. I mean, they have really, and still to have the 4th best record in baseball with everything that's going on.
In spite of Max Scherzer's dog, of course.
And I don't know if we've even talked about it much, but the Major League Baseball Players Association is trying to unionize the minor league players. This is the first time that the MLBPA has ever given a damn about the minor league players. And MLBPA made a procedural move yesterday in which technically they joined the AFL-CIO, which has many different, parts to their union organization, including a sports division. And the MLBPA has been, and they feel that Major League Baseball will be on board with this, that they will not fight this. My guess, though, is that Major League Baseball is going to eliminate more teams. That they'll be like, you can unionize, but, we got a few too many players. But listen, the last 2 years we've documented how little money they've made, the really bad living conditions. I know a lot of people are anti-union. I don't see how this could hurt the minor leaguers, quite frankly, with the way they're being treated.
Worked in hockey when this was done in the minor leagues, and I'm not a union guy at all. This will help minor league baseball. The players,
good.
It will.
Good.
There's just no two ways about it. It helped the hockey players. I think this would help the baseball players.
NASCAR, remember last week, Dale Jr. headlined that late model race at North Wilkesboro? Yeah. They're going to announce today, NASCAR is, that they're taking their all-star race there next May. Good for them. That's a great idea. U.S. Open, by the way, Jessica Pegula, the last American woman left standing, got beaten straight sets by the top seed Swatek 6-3, 7-6. But 24-year-old American Frances Tiafoe,
Mr. Tiebreak,
straight set winner over Rublev to advance to the semis, the first American male to make the semis at the U.S. Open since Andy Roddick in 2006.
Mark, you're not kidding, Mr. Tiebreak.
No, he's 12-0 in tiebreaks in this Open. He's 12-0 in set tiebreakers. That's unbelievable.
He will play Carlos Alcaraz in the semis. Alcaraz is the third seed. He won his 5-hour and 15-minute match at 2:50 a.m., literally 4 hours ago.
Yeah, it's the first time we've almost had live sports during our show that were from the night before.
Right. And that was
the starting five every weekday morning at this time on Miller and Moulton.
So there you have it. Decent amount of meat on the bone. And most of it not involving the Bills and the Rams tonight. Huh? Gotta love the sports world.
Delivering once again. Our poll question's up. The Bills are the betting favorite. Do you think they'll make the Super Bowl? Go to that Mark Miller, the David Moulton, or FL Sports Network on Twitter. Thanks so much for listening right here on the Florida Sports Network. Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost clubhead speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119. Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just worked with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K. Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network. It's only Football Friday. I got to save the voice. I love this commercial. Guinness commercial with Montana.
That's it.
Oh, they're sitting there at the bar, and blah, blah, blah. And the kid goes, so did you play tennis? Yeah, kid.
Oh, that's what I did.
You know, you talked about the big three in tennis not being there and nobody watching it. I have enjoyed yesterday. I enjoyed yesterday's tennis.
Doug Gottlieb sent out a tweet late last week in which he said, I hope people are watching the tennis because the tennis has been amazing.
It has. These young guys are so explosive. My God, Tiafoe was serving mid 130s yesterday.
Listen, I'm biased. You know, I grew up in that area. I absolutely love the U.S. Open. I love that it's raucous. I love that it doesn't have the feel of tennis. To me,
Yeah.
the U.S. Open is like Phoenix, Mark, on the PGA Tour.
Yeah. The waste management.
Okay. Just that the atmosphere at the U.S. Open. I like the fact that it's unique. It's totally untennis-like. It's like Phoenix on the PGA Tour. And see, now some people hate Phoenix on the PGA Tour. Some golfers hate it.
Yeah.
All right.
Those people are weird.
Well, no, I mean, it's its own thing. There's no other tournament like Phoenix.
No, at all.
But that's why I love it.
You're right. A lot of colors, a lot of vibrant.
You know, that's the other thing about the U.S. Open. You're allowed to dress however you want.
Mhm.
And, you know, the Wimbledon, before, everybody's wearing white. It's
You know,
proper. It's what have
classy.
you. The U.S. Open's like a punk rock concert.
Yeah. People are louder, you know.
Right. More obnoxious.
More judges saying please.
$18 Heinekens. I mean, come on. You'd be angry too.
Thank you. Please.
Yes, quiet, please.
Please. Thank you.
Enough already. It's 2 a.m. Shut up.
Good line by Rory at the end of the presser.
Be tired. It's the fourth day.
It's a good line. His holier than thou thing, though. I mean, you better not play in any cash grabs, Rory, in parts of the world. I mean, better not be going to China. You better not be going to Dubai to play in these tournaments because it doesn't make any different then.
That's what's backfiring about these people hating on Liv. You know, people are they're under a tight microscope now.
Surprised Davis Love didn't select Ricky Fowler for the President's Cup.
We're coming back.
Did you see the video of
You are listening listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
Hour number 2 of Miller and Moulton on this first day of the 2022 NFL season. Bills and Rams tonight at SoFi. Buffalo, a 2.5-point favorite on the road against the defending Super Bowl champions. That's how big the hype and the expectations are for the Bills, and that's why they are the focus of our poll question. Buffalo, the betting favorite to win the Super Bowl this year. We ask, will they even get to the Super Bowl? After all, they haven't been in 29 years. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton on Twitter, or go to floridasportsnetwork.com and vote. Will they even get to the game? I mean, sometimes you have a season that goes chalk. You know, you can have an NCAA tournament in which all you know what breaks loose until you get to the, oh, look at who's in the Final Four. You know, 4 big boys. I mean, so we could have chaos this year and still end up with Buffalo and Green Bay in the final game of the year, right?
Absolutely.
Heather, what was your Super Bowl pick again?
Buffalo and Green Bay.
Mine's Buffalo and Tampa Bay. I think the Bucs will figure it out at the end of the year, kind of like they did 2 years ago. They were 7-5 in early December 2 years ago, and then didn't lose again. I think the Bucs will have a similar season. It'll take them a while with the line, but they'll figure it out late. And let me tell you, that wide receiving core is healthy. I don't know who you're covering.
Well, there's no doubt, and I know every team could say this, but there's no doubt when you look at where the Bucs are to start the season that they are a team that's going to be better in December than they are in September. I mean, that's, and I know guys can get injured, but without the obvious, there's no way you can look at Tampa Bay to me and say, well, they're just going to progressively get a little better. They're going to be markedly better in December than they are in September. And I've said this all along. This reminds me of a lot of Brady's Patriot teams, that this team to me is going to be a little bit of a work in progress this year, that you're not going to see their best football till later in the year. And don't take a 2-2 record in September and write off the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Mike Evans, Julio Jones, Russell Gage. Remember what a nice signing that was early in free agency? Chris Godwin. I mean, come on now. I mean, seriously, teams are going to have to stop that in January. That ain't going to be easy, man. I mean, there's 2 Hall of Fame receivers. Julio, Hall of Famer? Now, you know I think Mike Evans is. 7 straight 1,000-yard seasons, nobody's ever done it. I think Mike Evans, at the end of the day, you're going to look at his resume and go, holy blank, that's a Hall of Famer. Julio?
Without looking at anything in front of
Right.
me, he feels like a Hall of Famer to me.
Right. So, and the other 2 guys are Chris Godwin and Russell Gage. And Godwin will be healthier in theory, more so at the end of the season than the beginning, still coming back from the injury. I think that the Bucs at the end of the day are going to be a handful. But you're right. There are going to be times leading up to it in which you're going to go, oh, man, they're vulnerable.
And I had them as a Final Four team. I have them losing to Green Bay in the NFC Championship game because it's going to be in Green Bay. And I know that's not always been the best thing for.
I was going to say it used to be really tough to win there. Lately, but I mean, it is ironic. The one Super Bowl appearance and win in Rodgers' career, they were a 6 seed. They had to win all road games. He's lost the last 2 years. They've lost at home in the playoffs to the Niners and the Bucs. They had that 15-1 season in 2011. They got beat at home by the Giants. I mean, you'd be surprised how many home playoff games they've lost here in the last 10 or so years. But should be a great season. Hope so. AFC should be just madness.
And the NFC will surprise because that's hopefully where we get somebody coming out of nowhere. But I think Minnesota's better than people are giving them credit for. I think New Orleans is better than people are giving them credit for. It's always fascinating because the media loves to talk Cowboys to see what the hell is going to happen in Dallas this year.
You know, it's funny. If you look at their draft record over the last 8-10 years, it's pretty good. They've got good players. I mean, they've had Romo and Dak as their two quarterbacks during the last 15 years. They have very little to show for it. They've had like the 7th best winning percentage in the last 15 years in the NFL. I mean, it is remarkable. I mean, Jerry, listen, I don't think he should be in the Hall of Fame, but they have not done a bad job running that franchise. They did an awful job after the dynasty fell apart. I mean, it took Jerry 8 to 10 years to figure out what to do without Jimmy. But they've actually kind of sort of figured it out.
Except for at the head coaching position.
Okay.
Well,
no,
because
that's
the
fair.
talent's been there. They're last year they were obviously way too penalized as a team.
And before that, it was Jason Garrett. A lot of people didn't think that was good enough. But, you know, they've had it for 15 years. They've had a quarterback.
Yes.
And they've had a lot of good players. And they've done a good job in the draft, believe it or not.
Well, they've had great successes. You just pointed out in the regular season.
Right. And they've got nothing basically to show for it. I mean, Romo won 2 playoff games. Dak won 1. I mean, they have 3 playoff wins this century. And they're like the 7th most winningest team in this century. They have nothing to show for it. I mean, if you're a Cowboys fan of a certain age, you're like, man, could I just have a Bengals run like last year? Could you give me one of those?
Jarrett just wants one of those.
Yeah, got that right.
I mean, you've heard the comments. It's not even talking about winning a Super Bowl, but he just keeps talking about this team needs to win playoff games.
Yeah.
He's even changed his tune.
Right.
I mean, think about that. The owner of one of the more arrogant guys that's out there has gone from, you know, we're a Super Bowl team to coach knows we got to make a playoff run.
Right.
What?
Can we get to the divisional round, please? I'd love to get to the championship game, but can we get to the divisional round? That would be great. Yeah. I mean, think about the number of playoff wins. You were in North Carolina in the mid-90s. You were at when the triplets there lost to the Panthers in the 96 season. Yeah, they've won 3 playoff games since.
Dallas Cowboys.
Right. That was 1996 season, early January of 97. It's over 25 years ago. They've won 3 playoff games. And they've made the playoffs a lot. They've done a lot of quote-unquote winning. But they haven't done any winning. So a lot of storylines like that. It's fun. We have no idea what's going to happen. We're all going to bed. Or did we just wake up on Christmas morning? Or are we, since the game's 11 hours, 13 hours away, are we going to bed?
I feel like today's the 23rd and we don't have to work on the 24th, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
But we get one tonight, Rams and Bills. Looking forward to that, obviously. And I'll tell you what, this is the weekend. If your family likes you and you still are talking to them, Saturday's your day to give it that one last-ditch effort to spend a little time with the family. Because there's not a damn thing worth watching on the college football slate until Florida plays Kentucky.
Yeah, it's like a 3-4 game slate, and that's about it. And the games are not great. There are some good matchups. You got to really be
Tennessee and Pitt's a 3:30 game.
You know, believe it or not, the last game of the day is Baylor at BYU.
But that's what I said during the day. I mean,
Right.
Really and truly, because the best game of the day is Florida, Kentucky. That's a 7:00 tilt.
And then, yeah, Pitt, Tennessee.
Pitt, Tennessee's a 3:30 game. But, I mean, come on. Really? We're going to stop everything we're doing for Pitt and Tennessee? I know we've waited for football a long time. I'm merely saying that there's an opportunity
I agree.
to endear yourself
That's
to your
true.
family one last time.
Yeah, because don't waste your time with Alabama, Texas, okay? I mean, that's going to be a goat rodeo right there. Texas, a 20-point underdog.
They're back.
Right. Listen, when their own head coach is going, listen, we're not back. Okay, it doesn't matter whatever happens Saturday. It's not a measuring stick. I mean, you got both pregame shows going to be there.
Because there's nowhere else to be.
I understand that. I understand.
This is a terrible job of scheduling. This is one of the things that you and I have talked about so often. With all the money these networks are paying for these damn games, to have a week 2 that looks this bad is pathetic.
Agreed. And the NFL's only played one game. So it's, it's a chance to, maybe your last chance to kind of still be the biggest thing going. I agree. But sport doesn't have a commissioner. If it did, if there was a central marketing plan, then they would sit down and say, listen, we got to get the first 2 weeks right. We got to give people something they can chew on, because after that, we're competing with the NFL. And that's a tough compete. I'm just going to throw a game out there nobody cares about, but sneaky good. USC at Stanford. That's a black hole place for USC in the last 15 years.
But another night game.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're right. It's a sneaky good game, but it's another night game. Just
our poll question: Bills Rams tonight. Bills favored tonight. Bills favored to win the Super Bowl. The clear favorite. We ask you, are they even going to get to the game? Go to that Mark Miller, the David Moulton, FloridaSportsNetwork.com, and vote. Dr. Roto in less than an hour and a half. He'll be taking your questions. So submit them, whether it's via text, FSN Radio to 21,000, FSN Radio, all one word, no spaces, to 21,000, or check us out on the Miller and Moulton Twitch.tv channel and submit your question there. We'll fire them at the good doctor in about an hour and 20 minutes.
Matt Cannata, 25 minutes away. Roy Cummings at the top of the 8 o'clock hour. We'll go to Buffalo also in the 8 o'clock hour to find out, well, if our poll question, how that's hitting them in Buffalo. Are the Bills going to make the Super Bowl? We'll ask that of he and you in the show on Miller and Moulton right here on the Florida Sports Network.
David Moulton for Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost clubhead speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Klecko, Iowa scored 7 points against South Dakota. Explain to me how that's a game I need to see.
Although I will say, they're not fond of each other.
Final score, Hawkeyes 14, Cyclones 11.
Mark, I'm saying 13-11. Cyclones trying to get into field goal range late. It is, well, is it a good ride? It's an intense rivalry, but the Cyclones have lost like what, 7 of 8, 8 of 9, something like that? They have not fared well in this game. Play of the day here.
Yeah. Do you have the play?
And you want to do this much LIV here?
Sure. You are correct, fam. 10-10-30. It's the last game of the night. Well, DC, I would say for that quarterback, personally.
Rays are like, is it 19-5, 24-5, something like that? Since like second week of August. They're getting healthy. I mean, they're really getting healthy. Guy who pitched the middle 3 innings last night was his first appearance coming off Tommy John in over a year. What's his face? Tyler there. He pitched an inning in the minors last night.
Glasnow or whatever you're talking about?
Yeah, Tyler Glasnow. Wander Franco had 3 hits in the minors last night. He may be back in a week or so. I mean, the back end of the Rays bullpen has finally settled down. They've been lights out for 6 weeks. Their closer hasn't given up a run in 17 innings. Yankees better take care of them this weekend. Better get at least one.
I hope they sweep the Yanks.
Oh, it'd be amazing. God, they'd be one. a 2 back, 1 in the loss column.
Coming back.
Where you been, Hops?
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
21 minutes after the hour, Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network. Season kicking off tonight in Los Angeles, Bills and Rams. Talk about that, but we'll talk Dolphins with Cannata as well. Roy Cummings to talk Bucs at the top of the hour. We'll head to Buffalo in an hour. Get a little preview of the Bills and the Rams, and should the Bills be the clear Super Bowl favorite. And Dr. Roto, a little over an hour from now, taking your fantasy football questions. Text them in, send them in via the Twitch chat room as well. The Clutch Vodka play of the day coming up. I'll tell you what, it's actually getting intense now. I mean, it's been petty, but now it's getting intense. The discord between the players on the PGA Tour and the players on LIV.
It's almost it has every element of a high school breakup to it. Is the only way I can describe it. And a high school breakup at a private school, by the way, because everybody's rich at this school.
Okay. All right.
And then, either that or it's the Bachelorette, where they give them a forum to be petty with one another. I don't know how to describe this because it's borderline pitiful.
So I will say Rory's got great one-liners. All right. He was good all through the PGA Tour playoffs whenever he was asked about LIV. This week, they're playing the BMW PGA Championship in England. And there are nearly 20 LIV players who are playing in this event, which is a DP World Tour, used to be the European Tour event. And they get world golf ranking points for being in this event. And, of course, right now, the LIV tournaments don't get any world golf ranking points.
And the PGA Tour players who never play anything on the DP World Tour as well are all playing in this event, and they're not very happy that anybody from the Live Golf Tour is in the event.
Right. Now, there's, Rory and John Rahm and those who have played European Tour. But Billy Horschel has been very vocal, very anti the LIV players and what have you. Horschel's played in 6 that were non-WGC events, which also technically count as DP events. But he's played in events like this only 6 times in his career. But he feels that those that are playing this week from the LIV should not be here.
And he's adamant about it.
And he's calling out the Americans, especially by name. He is more sympathetic towards some of the older European stalwarts, Sergio, Lee Westwoody, and Poulter. But he also then said, deep down, I don't feel they should be here, even though they've only supported the tour for 20 plus years. But Rory had a good line this week, though.
He had a great line at the end of the presser when asked if he was going to be, what it would be like if he was paired with someone from Live Golf on Sunday and how that would work out. And Rory hit it out of the park, David.
Rory said, well, I don't know. I mean, they'll be tired after all. They'll be playing their 4th round. Okay,
it's a great line.
That's good. Good job.
I hope Dustin Johnson kicks his ass on Sunday to win the tournament. I really do. I want a Live golfer to win this event badly because I find it fascinating how petty the PGA Tour players are being.
Apparently, there was a meeting between the commissioner of the DP World Tour and Sergio and Westwood and Poulter and a couple of the other older Europeans in which it was heated and intense was the description of the meeting. And it looks as if the DP World Tour is not trying to welcome the older Europeans back. And I will say those golfers, when they broke away from the PGA Tour, said, we want to play on the old Euro Tour. They're not letting us. We want to end our careers playing on the tours that we started our career on. And right now, the DP World Tour is like, we're not interested. Now, they have a court injunction right now. It's not going to get settled till the spring. So that's why they're able to play in these events for the time being.
But my guess is this will be on the Golf Channel this morning and through the weekend, and you'll be able to watch some Live Tour golfers playing right alongside PGA Tour golfers. And they televise it differently. They'll actually show Live golf players hit shots.
John Rahm made a good point. He goes, the thing that really bothers me is that the Live golfers have taken up some spots in this tournament. And he has a very good friend who I guess is first guy out. And he goes, this bothers me. He should be in this field. And now we got people playing in this field who are really not interested in this. But now, because of the situation they've put themselves in, they're playing in this event, and it's actually hurting some of the younger European golfers.
Okay. And if there weren't a Live Golf, how many of the PGA Tour players would be over playing in this event right now?
Well, that's a very valid
come on.
point. I agree.
Let's call this what it is. They wouldn't be supporting this tour in the way that they are if it weren't for Live Golf, because they haven't supported it. Some of the Euros have, and I understand that.
Right. I
But
think
the
Rory and
Americans-
Rahm wouldn't, but I don't think Billy Horschel would be at this event if it wasn't for this war that was going on.
So there's more than one side to this, and it's only being covered really from the angle of Live Golf sucks.
The part that I find interesting about this, though, is amongst the PGA Tour players, the only divide amongst them concerning the LIV is about the Ryder Cup. Rahm wants the older European guy on the Ryder Cup team next go around,
Or at least to be considered if
he doesn't think that they should be disqualified because of what they did. All right. Most everyone else thinks they should. I mean, Horschel went so far as to say, listen, no, it wasn't Horschel. Did you hear Shane Lowry's comments?
Yes.
In which Lowry basically said, well, those guys shouldn't be allowed to play in the Ryder Cup, A, and B, to be honest with you, the Ryder Cup days are probably beyond them. They're not good enough anymore. I mean, he said those words.
And when I thought the other part that he said is just how much we thought the Euros were such a great team. And Shane Lowry's like, if I'll shake some of their hands, I wouldn't shake some of the other hands, as if that was a moment in time that's long gone.
He did say he was sad. There are some guys I haven't seen in a while. I miss them. I will probably have dinner with a few of them this week. But, it's kind of like when, I don't know, friends move. You still care for them, but you're just not going to see them nearly as much anymore.
It's a divorce, David. You liked some of your first wife's friends, but they went along with the package.
Right.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
Wow.
This is a divorce. And you don't get to hang out with your ex-wife's friends anymore, even if everybody liked one another. Someone gets the dog, someone gets the house, and someone gets to hang out with the friends.
I guess. But Ricky Fowler still gets to hang out with them, though, right?
Surprised he wasn't put on the President's Cup team.
U.S. going for their 9th straight President's Cup win.
Whatever. Never was interested before. You couldn't pay me to watch it now.
What if it was replaced with little PJ Tour versus LIV Tour?
I'm in. Must see TV.
That's what this reminds me of, by the way. The angst between the two tours is reminding me an awful lot of the 1990s Ryder Cup. That's when the Ryder Cup was intense. The war at the shore and all that. That was 91. I mean, the late 80s, early 90s Ryder Cup was when literally golfers had to be separated at times during the matches. We're like 1987 Ryder Cup right about now. It's going to get worse.
Miller and Moulton. Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network, will join us on the other side to talk some Dolphins right here on the Florida Sports Network.
Golfers, Are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost clubhead speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Some good Euro golf. It's raining.
Yes. It's Portland in October.
Ooh, look, Billy Horschel putting his money where his mouth is. You better make this. You know what really throws you is when they put the shots up in meters on there.
That is true.
Wow. Klecko, it's a great question. More drama, PGA versus Liv or TB12 versus Giselle? Trouble in paradise.
Oh, Adam, you might as well have just bought lottery tickets.
What's the Doug Gottlieb story?
Gottlieb came out and admitted he was wrong. He did the thing about Freddie Freeman and his agent, Corey.
He did, yeah.
He said, my sources were wrong. I got it completely wrong. I've apologized. I mean, it was not an ambiguous apology at all. It was I got it wrong.
Huh.
I mean, he released that's the type of statement. The one he released is the type of statement you should release when you screw up.
Comment here on LIV Golf is like the guy in the moped that drives by you in the bike lane during morning traffic. It's so annoying.
That's great.
That's a really good line.
Called Matt. He went straight to voicemail. I left him a voicemail. I'll call him back.
Okay.
You text him?
We're coming back now.
Mm-hmm.
He retweeted.
You're listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network.
22 minutes before the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Roy Cummings will join us coming up at the top of the hour. Talk Tampa Bay Bucs as they get ready for their season opener in Dallas. Sunday Night Football. Howard Simon in about 40 minutes. We'll head to Buffalo. Bills, preseason favorite to win the Super Bowl, and that's our poll question. They're the favorites. Haven't been the favorites in nearly 30 years. Do you think they'll even get to the game? That's our question, and right now the vote is split nearly 50-50. Go to that, Mark Miller, the David Moulton on Twitter or floridasportsnetwork.com and vote. We will ask that very same question of Matt Cannata, founder, investigative reporter, Pro Football Network. Follow Matt on Twitter, Cannata, 1 N, 2 N's, 1 T, Cannata PFN, Cannata PFN. Matt, David, and Mark, once again, top of the morning to you. How are you?
Good, guys. How are you?
I'm fine. Our poll question, don't know if you heard it, Bills overwhelming favorite to win the Super Bowl. Do you think they will even get to the game? Yes or no?
No.
Ooh.
Is there a reason or team why, or do you just think that they're not the best team in the AFC?
Well, you told me just to say yes or no, so I couldn't talk more. So no. The Bills, what you see with these teams, and if you recall when the Falcons made it under Dan Quinn, and I believe it was a year after the 28-3 loss, if I remember correctly. He had said publicly, he said they were so obsessed about getting back to the Super Bowl and winning the Super Bowl, they forgot everything else that came along with building a team the right way and working together and getting there, because they couldn't stop thinking and obsessing about that goal. Now, Sean McDermott is a very special individual, a very special head coach. And so he may be able to keep this team on the right track and the right mindset week by week, rather than obsessing about the Super Bowl. But I think with this team, with these kind of teams who are just so infatuated and all this pressure on them, it really just piles up. And, if you don't have the right checks and balances in place, and it can only go so far from the head coach down to the team, you run into a lot of trouble. And so for that reason, along with just the immense competition in the AFC as a whole, I just don't see them getting back to the not back to the Super Bowl, they're going to get there, but getting to the Super Bowl.
Does that then put the Dolphins in a good spot, Matt, in that I know expectations in South Florida are high. They're high for every team right now because we haven't played a game yet. But the fact that the Bills are so much more prevalent being the favorite in the AFC, can the Dolphins be sneaky good and get away? Or do you think they're a divisional contender?
I don't know if they're a divisional contender. I'd be surprised if they didn't make the playoffs. They should be a playoff team with the talent that they've assembled and with the way that they feel they have built the roster to compete. Ultimately, it comes down to that, right? And so you have Tyreek, you have Jalen, you have Tua, you have a really strong defense at all levels of the defense. There are a few weaknesses on the offense. But in terms of, like, can they be sneaky good? Yeah, I do. But remember, a lot of the media has already been saying, oh, this offense is going to be great. And they have the absolute pounding of the Eagles in the preseason. Sure, it's preseason, but it means something. It doesn't mean nothing. It means something. It doesn't mean a whole lot, though. But I think as the Dolphins continue on and they start piling up those wins, that pressure is going to pile on. And how does a young team, how does that affect a QB like Tua? Yes, he was at Alabama. The pressure was certainly there. Mike McDaniel is a rookie head coach, but he was in San Francisco. He was been on different spots with Kyle Shanahan where the pressure has been immense. And so how it affects a team remains to be seen, and especially a team like the Dolphins. But I think they can be sneaky good for a little bit. But if they keep winning, that pressure is going to pile on.
Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network, ProFootballNetwork.com. You can follow Pro Football Network on Twitter at PFN365. You can follow Matt on Twitter at Cannata PFN, Cannata PFN. Are we sure the Dolphins are going to be able to run the ball? I mean, I know the offensive line will be better just because of some of the moves that they've made. But, ultimately, this head coach, the offense he would prefer to run is not 4 wide and throw it all over the lot. It's a lot of running, which sets up the big passing plays. Do we think that the Dolphins are going to be able to run the ball? They haven't been able to for a while.
Well, they have like 85 running backs on their roster, so they should, right? Kidding. We still don't know if Chase Edmonds or Raheem Mostert's like that 1A, 1B, or is it like a 1 and a 2? I think, but with anything that you've seen with San Francisco the past few years, especially as a fantasy football player, you never know which running back is going to have a big day. So the Dolphins certainly have some personnel in place with Edmonds and Mostert to achieve that. There are questions about their offensive line. Yeah, you have Teron Armstead at the left tackle spot, but you have Liam Eichenberg at left guard. You have Connor Williams at center, Robert Hunt at right guard, and Austin Jackson at right tackle. There's a talent on that line that's unproven. And so as you look for Austin Jackson to keep developing, as you try to figure out if Connor Williams is the answer at center, if you see if Eichenberg can fill that spot at left guard, how are you going to execute the run blocking schemes and execute all the different pulls and the pushes that come along with Mike McDaniel's system. It's going to be interesting to watch. They didn't have a ton of success with it in preseason. And we all know that the only way to really establish the run is to, 1, to keep doing it, but 2, to have a QB who can throw downfield and open up that offense. And so they can't just walk in there on Sunday and think they're going to run the ball and dominate. 2 is going to need to make some plays early and often and push back the defense a little bit off that line so they can get to where they need to be with that run blocking.
Other side of the ball, the defensive line, are they going to be able to get to the quarterback with 4 enough?
I think so. I think Jalen Phillips is a monster this year. He has been receiving great reviews during camp. You have Raekwon Davis, who's healthy. You have Christian Wilkins, who I believe is in that contract year and is going to have a lot to prove. Their linebackers are very strong. You have Jerome Baker. You have Melvin Ingram now, who they just signed recently. So the health of Byron Jones is certainly concerning, and we'll see how that plays out. But you do have a very good secondary in Javon Holland and Brandon Jones and Xavier Howard. Noah Igbinoghene is obviously a big question mark. But all that together, if you could lock down those receivers and if you could keep them at the line of scrimmage, then that's going to allow your defensive line just, even a split second or a second more to get to the QB. And I think we're going to see a very dominant Dolphins defense this year.
Yeah, the biggest question, I think, Matt, on defense is going to be the coordinator. think we're going to find out once and for all who actually was running the defense last year. Because I'm with you, personnel-wise, that's a top 8 defense. That's a top quarter of the league defense personnel-wise, especially when they get Jones back at corner. I mean, it'll be one of the 5 best secondaries probably in the league.
Yeah, they should be. And there's a lot of questions about that. Who was really calling the plays last year? Who was really, taking hold of that defense? There was questions about someone else, and I forget the name. I think it's Gerald Alexander, but I don't want to misspeak, that he was actually the one running the defense. There was talks about Brian Cook. He was the one running the defense. And nobody was really talking about Boyer, right? He's been with the Dolphins now for 4 years. This was his 4th season, his 3rd as defensive coordinator with Titans, right? And so you're absolutely correct. We will see for sure who was running that defense these past several years.
Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network, talk a little Dolphins. The other Florida team, health-wise, when you look at the Bucs right now, we know about the offensive line. Godwin going to be able to go week 1?
So he released a report last night on ProFootballNetwork.com that was talking about some inside information. Our NFL insider, Aaron Wilson, and Chris Godwin is making really, really good progress. Whether or not he's going to be good enough to go week 1, probably not, because they probably don't want to rush him back so quickly. But what we've been hearing is that he's been practicing without a brace on his knee. He's trending toward being fully cleared and regarded as healthy enough to play. However, he hasn't been subject to contact in practice yet. And so, the sources that we talk to emphasize that this decision will likely be a true game time decision, and it's going to be really a judgment call. But Godwin is going. He's been, active. He's running. He's catching passes. He's taking part in drills. That last part, though, he hasn't had that contact. And so we'll see, but he is trending in all the right directions.
Matt, what do your sources have about the Lamar Jackson situation? He reportedly has made tomorrow end of business day or tomorrow night, hey, deal by then, or we're done talking and we all know what road we're going to go down then in March. What does Pro Football Network have to say about the Lamar Jackson story?
That situation is very interesting. And we think it's interesting because Lamar doesn't have an agent. He uses his mother and close friends to advise him and to kind of handle that kind of stuff for him. So, he has what we may have talked about this before, but when you put yourself in the room with other executives of that team, it's hard to separate personal and business. And I have a value that I think I'm worth. You have a value that you think you're worth. It's no different for Lamar. He thinks he's worth something. The Ravens probably don't agree on that value, right? And so how do you separate that from personal to business? How do you sit across from Lamar Jackson at the table and say, Lamar, you're asking for this. We love you, but we don't think you're worth that much money. And how do you not take that personally, right? And so we're seeing a lot of that happening right now. Lamar has said he's given the Ravens till Friday for a deadline for a contract extension. That's going to get done. But if he had an agent who doesn't even make a whole lot of money, I think it's like 2.5%, 3%, this deal probably gets done a while ago, because that agent's then able to filter out those feelings and that pushback from the organization to the player. And so it's a classic case of mixing business with personal, and it's hard for Lamar to separate that right now.
Bunch of home dogs this weekend, including tonight with the Rams. When you look at the Rams, what do you see, and how much with Van Jefferson out is that going to affect tonight's game?
I think it affects a little bit, but I don't think it's going to affect a whole lot. Allen Robinson, I'm very intrigued to see how he fits into the offense, because he is a player that a lot of people have been talking about in his time in Chicago, that he was underused and not utilized the right way, because he's going to have a good quarterback. And so with him and Cooper Kupp, holding down the fort, and then, whatever happens with Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson, I think you're going to see the same Rams that we've seen in the past with the dynamite offense. Now, the Bills defense will have something to say about that. But Van Jefferson's absence will hurt them too much. I think they'll be creative enough to spread the ball around. And I do believe that Allen Robinson is going to have a tremendous impact in tonight's game.
All right, final question. is there a Cincinnati Bengals team out there this year? And I don't necessarily mean go all the way to the Super Bowl, but, they were a last place team a year ago at this time, and everybody projected them to be better, but still a bottom half of the division team. And we all know what happened. Do you have a team out there that you think makes a huge move this year?
Yeah, I do. And I think it's, I previously said the Dolphins, and I think they are still in a good position, but keep an eye on the Colts. They should be the best team in the AFC South. They've upgraded at the QB position, replacing Wentz with Matt Ryan. And Frank Reich is a good head coach, and their GM, Chris Ballard, I believe that's his name, is a really good GM. And when you have Jonathan Taylor, when you have a defense that's led by Shaquille Leonard, and you can kind of do the things you do and have a receiver like Michael Pittman, I think they're a team that's very primed for a turnaround just because of the QB position itself. And I would keep my eyes on them. They play in a division that's not very strong with the Jaguars, Texans, and Titans, who seem to be on a decline. And they can dominate that division and make some noise heading into the playoffs. I think there's something to watch out there.
Matt, as always, appreciate your time. Admire the work that you and your staff at Pro Football Network do. Have a great week one, and we look forward to talking to you or a member of your staff next week.
I appreciate it. You guys have a good week.
Matt Cannata, Pro Football Network, profootballnetwork.com. Follow him on Twitter, Cannata, 2 N's, 1 T, Cannata PFN, Cannata PFN. Your Colts.
They are my Colts. They're your Chargers, and they're my Colts.
Well, they were your Chargers.
I dumped them.
I know. After 5 years of being on them every step of the way, and 2 years of still calling them San Diego when they were in Los Angeles, that's how much you were on them. Now you're completely done with them. They're damn near dead to you. The Colts have not been my choice in the AFC South. I'm a Titans guy.
And have been.
Yes. And I've been proven right. All right. But now I am picking up where you left off with the Chargers. You dropped the baton, and I have grabbed it, and I'm running with it.
We dubbed this our Great Eight, and I think we are going to deliver coming up in the 8 o'clock hour today. Roy Cummings on the other side to talk Bucs. Then we'll go to Buffalo, and then Dr. Roto. So start getting your questions, your fantasy questions in now. Text, Twitch, whatever you need to do. Get them into Miller and Moulton.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the chicken bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K. Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, flgolfcarts.com.
If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. FLGolfCarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, FLGolfCarts.com. FLGolfCarts.com. Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost clubhead speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Eliminator pools like a suicide pool?
Yes.
Looks lovely over there. 1 in the afternoon.
Look at those trees. They look like popsicles. Where is this being played again?
England.
The United Kingdom. Also informally known as the Dark Pit of Despair.
DC, you like to take a chance week 1? I don't like to take chances week 1. I mean, usually these suicide eliminator pools, I mean, it's tough to get to like week 6. Many people still in them. Where are you going to go?
Hey, Dad, I'm going to give you the email address. Email me that because I don't know any of my ESPN password stuff on this computer.
Roy's on hold. We're back.
Awesome.
right now.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
And just like that, it's the top of the 8 o'clock hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Thanks so much for being with us. We'll head to Buffalo in 20 minutes, and, well, we'll find out whether or not they think it should be Super Bowl or bust in upstate New York. Dr. Roto in 35 minutes. Get your fantasy football questions in, whether it's via text or via Twitch. The doctor makes his weekly house call in a little more than 35 minutes' time. Roy Cummings making his weekly house call right now. He covers the Bucs. Bay News 9 is where he does a couple of appearances a week these days. You can also follow Roy on Twitter, rcummingsfhcn, rcummingsfhcn. How you doing?
I'm doing well. I am ready to sit back and watch some football that matters.
And it matters Sunday night in Dallas.
Yeah.
It's fascinating, a rematch from, week 1 last year, which was a spectacular game. Tampa, in many ways, fortunate enough to win it. All right. What are you thinking heading in to week 1? First off, you concerned about Brady at all and apparently what's going on in his personal life? You concerned at all?
Yes, I am. Because, you never have any guarantee on anything in life. But, how do we know that? We don't know if anything was resolved or if anything needed to be resolved. We know so little about why he was gone for 11 days. And I'm sorry, I'm the football community, which is so hard fast about everybody being there for every practice, buying in the whole bit. All of a sudden, we just give Tom Brady a pass for an 11-day absence that basically is, it's certainly unprecedented. And I understand if anybody can take 11 days off and be fine, it's Tom Brady. Well, I'm sure that's the case, but it's not just about taking 11 days off and being okay. It's kind of like the message. How does take your pick, player X. I'm not going to name anybody because I don't know that anybody's going to do this, but how does player X not say, well, hey, wait, I need to take 3 days here, and I'll be back, but I'll be good. Tom Brady was good, I'll be good. How do we know that's not going to happen? And so, yes, going forward, we don't know what the issue was. It can't be good. That's the bottom line. Whatever it was not good. And if it wasn't resolved, if it is marital strife, it is something like that. Who's to say that at some point, 3 weeks into the season, the same issue doesn't come up again? Maybe he's trying to work through some things. God, for all I know, maybe he's going through a divorce. Who knows? And so whatever it is, how do we not know that at some point during the season, when the games matter, when it really matters, that he's not going to be there? And again, we don't really know what his focus is. That's really my bigger concern, is we don't know his focus. We don't know his drive at this point. It's something that heretofore had been completely unquestioned. No one ever questioned Tom Brady's drive, focus, determination, will, desire, the whole bit. All of a sudden, you have to question it. He took 11 days off in training camp at arguably one of the most important times of the season. And again, I've said this before, new group of guys, new line, new receivers, new head coach, the whole bit. So of all times to be taking time off, I'm sorry, that wasn't it. So yeah, I'm concerned going forward. I don't know that we've seen the end of this. There may be another chapter in this, and it could be a costly chapter.
Wow. Roy Cummings even alluding to a midseason break for Tom Brady, possibly. I don't see that, but I understand exactly what you're getting at, Roy. A new center, not missing 11 days. There are so many different reasons. We know they can throw the football. Are they going to be able to run it?
I think they have to, and especially this week, because here's another just going forward. Period. Not just this week, but every week. Yes, because that offensive line is such an unknown at this point. We have no idea how well it's really going to hold up. We've never seen it in action, really, with Tom Brady at quarterback inserting a meaningful snap. So we don't really know how it's going to hold up. And as good as Tom Brady is at getting the ball out quickly, reading the defense, and getting into the right play, I think they're going to have to be able to run the ball to take some natural pressure off of Tom Brady. I don't know that you want him back there throwing 35, 45 times a game. He may want to do that. Byron Leftwich may want to do that, but the line may not allow it. Don't forget, Rob Gronkowski's not there either. Big part of that line a year ago. So you've lost Ryan Jensen, Ali Marpet, Rob Gronkowski, 3 Pro Bowl caliber players. Sorry, it's just not the same. There's going to be an adjustment period. Tom Brady is a year older. How much he's been through some issues, and physically, has he slowed down a little bit? I mean, everybody hits a wall at some point. So yeah, I think they have to be able to run the ball to be more balanced, to take some natural pressure off Brady, so that they're not throwing every down. Because if suddenly there's a second down blitz and he gets hit, well, that could be problematic. So I think they have to be able to run the ball. And the good news is I think they will be able to run the ball. I think it's best for the line that they develop a rhythm that way, develop some unity and chemistry that way. And I think they've got the backs to do it. So I think they can run the ball, but I think they're also going to have to run the ball.
Roy Cummings, our weekly chat, talking Bucs. You can follow Roy on Twitter, R Cummings FHCN, R Cummings FHCN. Roy, I think this is, and yes, they're a good team, but I think this is a really good week 1 matchup for Tampa, because Dallas, if they have one weakness defensively, their biggest one is at defensive tackle. They're not very good there. Thankfully for Tampa Bay, because they've got all those questions in the interior of their line. And I think also, Roy, that, yeah, Dallas is probably going to blitz up the middle, but in a way, I think that's something that Tampa can take advantage of. If that linebacker moves inside, to create pressure that way, I actually think the Bucs can take advantage of it.
Oh, I do too. And in fact, I still think the Bucs can take advantage of anything that anybody throws at them until someone shows us that they can't. Especially as long as Tom Brady's behind center, smartest mind in the game at this point. He's seen everything. Nobody's going to throw anything at him that he hasn't seen, and he's going to be able to figure out how to get into the right play in most every situation. And that's a big edge. Believe me, that's a big edge. So I think it's a really good test for them. It's a formidable opponent, but I don't think it's a Super Bowl opponent. I think it tests certain areas and allows them to develop some confidence and put down a foundation of success in other areas, as you said, that offensive line. We'll see. I don't think they want to test it, 48 times, but in protection. But I think they'll be in good shape. So I feel good about this game. I think it's certainly a winnable game for the Buccaneers. I think they should win even on the road. But you never know. We'll see. You throw them out there and start playing, and a lot of things change in a hurry. So we'll see how it goes. But no, I do think it's a good opponent for them, because it's a formidable opponent, but it's a beatable opponent.
Roy, if you agree with my premise that this team's going to improve a hell of a lot between September and December, and let's just say at December, by the time the playoffs come, the Bucs are at a 10, and they're at their peak performance at the end of the season. Where are they at the start of the season to you?
I think they're probably around right now. I think you got to say 5 or 6 because there's just so much that we don't know about. Again, we talked about the offensive line. How much of a role does Rashad White play? How effective is Leonard Fournette after signing the big contract? Where's Brady's head? How effective is Chris Godwin and Julio Jones? Julio Jones doesn't practice yesterday all of a sudden. That kind of came out of nowhere. So, how effective is the receiving core? How good is it? And then to me, the defensive front is a little bit different. I still think it's as good as there is, but there's some new pieces there as well. And they're going to be counting on some of those young players that they drafted early on, Joe Tryon-Shanka, so that we've got to see this group, to me, has to prove a few things that the last group didn't. Last year, they didn't have to prove anything. We knew exactly who they were. Everybody was coming back. You knew what to expect, and you got it out of them for the most part. This year, a lot of things that are different, including the tight end room is different. running back room is different. I think you've lost your biggest thumper in the secondary. The linebacking core is still solid, but that defensive front, the front line, is that going to be as good without Jason Pierre-Paul and Ndamukong Suh? We'll see. Keem Hicks is pretty darn good, but, is he as good as what they had? We'll find out.
Roy, final question. Any concern at all the transition from Arians to Bowles?
Yeah, there is. Look, Bruce Arians is he's the consummate head coach. As I told you guys before, I believe there are just pro head coaches, and he was one of them. He knows exactly how to run a building and how to run a team and how to focus on both sides of the ball and get everything done, do the administrative work, do the media work and everything else, and stay focused and get the job done. He is a pro head coach. I don't know that Todd Bowles is there. Some people are just darn good coordinators. We're going to find out now which one Todd Bowles is. Is he one of those pro head coaches like like Bruce Arians, like a Mike Tomlin, one of those kind of guys, or is he just a darn good defensive coordinator? Because at the end of the day, that's his strength. And some people are just coordinators, and that's okay. But they want to be elevated to head coaches, and sometimes it doesn't work. So we're going to find out. He's got the talent this time. This isn't the New York Jets, where he didn't have much to work with. He's got everything to work with here, lots and lots to work with, and he's got Bruce Arians up there in the second floor at One Buck Place helping him out. So he's got a lot going for him. This is a great test for him. We're going to find out if he's a head coach or just a glorified coordinator.
Roy Cummings, he's a head coach for us, that's for sure. Has been for over 15 years covering the Bucs. You can follow Roy on Twitter, @CummingsFHCN. Roy, all the best, and we look forward to our chat next week already.
Enjoy opening week.
Oh, lost Roy there. Thanks, Roy. @CummingsFHCN, @CummingsFHCN if you want to follow Roy on Twitter. So he likes him this week, but he's got a lot of concerns.
Sounds like he's not high on the Dallas Cowboys.
I think that's fair.
I mean, a formidable opponent.
I think that's a fair statement. But not much more than that. I've got a lot of concerns about the Bucs, but I really like them this week.
Right. It's a very winnable game.
Howard Simon, he does mornings in Buffalo. So he's working right now. Yes, he's working.
Did he tape an interview for this segment?
No, we're going to talk to him in between segments for Howard. Next, Miller and Moulton.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost clubhead speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
That's a good pick. Brett Soblitzky's got Chargers, Packers. There you go.
Crushed. Why am I going to be crushed? What am I crushed about? Yeah, well,
Queen.
96.
Queen. Yeah. God, there's a reason why you and I could never run a tour. We'd have DJ and Rory playing together for Thursday and Friday.
Oh, totally.
It is soggy. That drive's stuck. Ugh.
Since we have a limited time with our next guest, and he's got to be out by like 29, so make sure he's, well, I mean, wait one more minute, but just make sure he's ready to go first thing. Thank you, Felipe. Got your coffee? You're good?
I chugged my coffee.
All right, look at you. I just noticed you got your Rams Bucs shirt on.
Oh, yeah.
Tom Brady's last game.
Tom Brady's last game. Yeah. God, I was so mad when I found out he was unretiring.
You didn't give up your season tickets.
Oh, yeah. Mark.
I have never watched Downtown Abbey.
It's good.
It's pronounced Downton. Downton Abbey.
Downton.
Yeah.
He says he's getting better every game and he's enjoying it more. And I think he's even doing some men's matches. We were talking before the show.
Men and women, yeah. Both teams are exciting, too.
It's about time. Even program has slipped just a touch the last 3 years.
Is the opening with the parade route printed in the paper today?
That's really good.
Howard is on hold. Mello, I try to switch it up every time, you know? I'll save Mark and David's ears by not trying to replicate what I do, but want to see it, just come out to a game. I don't know. We're coming back.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
And at 21 minutes after the hour, we welcome in Howard Simon, who's working right now. We're interrupting his schedule, his shift, to talk a little Bills for 8 solid minutes here. You can follow Howard on Twitter at HSimon62. He does mornings on the great WGR 550 in Buffalo. Howard, it's David and Mark. Thanks for your time. How are you?
My pleasure. How are you guys doing?
Well, we are doing well. Listen, the Bills are the focus of our poll question today. They're everybody's pick. They're the favorite in Vegas to win the Super Bowl. We're asking our audience whether or not we think they're even going to go to the Super Bowl. Howard, is it Super Bowl or bust in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, it is. Which is kind of odd, maybe for some people, considering they haven't gotten to the Super Bowl in quite some time. But for a number of reasons, guys, it is Super Bowl or bust. There haven't been expectations this high around here about the Bills in 30 years. And 30 years ago, this team was going to Super Bowls. Granted, losing, but going to Super Bowl. So, yes, I would say it's absolutely Super Bowl or bust is on the minds of many Bills fans right now.
Is it warranted? Do you think they're that good, Howard? Are they clearly the best team in the AFC in your eyes?
Yes. Yeah, and this is not homerism or anything. They have really done a great job of putting together a deep roster, a talented roster. Obviously, they have the quarterback, that elite-level quarterback, and Josh Allen has turned into that. But if you look at what they've done around him in terms of the skill positions, the moves they've made to try and make the offensive line better, also the defense, obviously, the signing of Von Miller, the moves they made to make their defensive line better since the loss in Kansas City. That they're good at linebacker. When Trey White comes back, I think they've got one of the best secondaries in the league. So yes, it's a very deep, talented roster.
Do you think it matches up with the Chiefs, first off? I mean, let's face it, they've got to get past them. They've got to think at some point they're going to play them again in late January. Because let's face it, defensively, they have not matched up against that team in the last 2 years. Do you think now they can match up?
Yeah, and I think, honestly, what happened last season is why people feel different. A year ago, if you would have said, is it Super Bowl or bust, I would have said no. People think it's a talented team. But remember, they were coming off a bad regular season loss to Kansas City and a really disheartening AFC Championship loss to Kansas City. Now, last season, what happened? They go out to Kansas City. They beat them up pretty good in the regular season. They go back to Kansas City. I know, 13 seconds and all that. But they should have won the game. I mean, their offense did what it had to do and had the game they needed to have to beat Kansas City, and then everything falls apart with bad coaching and all this other crap in the last 13 seconds. So, guys, I think that's part of the reason why. I know they lost to Kansas City the last 2 years in the playoffs. But what happened last season and what they've done to try and fix their pass rush and make it better, it goes into that whole Super Bowl or bust mindset up here.
The other thing to me, Howard, is they can't blow the game against Pittsburgh. They can't blow the game against Jacksonville because either of those games, they might be playing that AFC Championship game at home. And I don't know if it's Von Miller. I don't know if it's another year Josh Allen. But has this team matured in the way that the easy one doesn't get past them and doesn't cost them home field in January where it's going to be so important?
I don't know. I mean, it is so important. I mean, look, there's a stat out there. I don't know if you guys know it. This team hasn't won a road playoff game under Sean McDermott. I think they're like 4-0 at home and 0-6 on the road. So that's not something to just forget about. They have not been able to go on the road and win a playoff game. So, yeah, I think the 1 seed and being, in Orchard Park in January and having people come here would be significant, a big edge for the Bills. To your question, we'll see. The last couple of years this team has they've hit a little funk at some point in the season, and the offense kind of struggles for about a month or so, or they do the whole, the head-scratching losses. The Jacksonville one, I still don't know how the heck they lost that game, fellas. But, yeah, it's entirely possible that might happen, but I do believe they I think they also know how important it is and how much better it is for them to be home for the playoffs and have a game to go to the Super Bowl on their turf if possible.
Howard Simon, mornings on WGR 550 in Buffalo. Follow Howard on Twitter, HSimon62, HSimon62. I would like the Bills to be able to run the ball, A, a little more, but B, also run it without using the quarterback in the regular season. 3rd and 1. Can we hand it to a tailback and get the first down this year, Howard? I don't want Allen taking 75 to 100 hits in the regular season that in theory that line and running back should be able to take for him. Do you think they'll be able to run the ball better this year without using Allen?
I hope so. I think so. And I think there are a couple reasons why. I'm is a phenomenal running threat, but my heart skips a beat when he leaves the pocket. So, and it's not necessarily the scramble runs, guys, because if he's scrambling, it's usually he's got some space. And I think he's gotten better about sliding or getting out of bounds than he was earlier in his career. It's the design runs, which are also very effective with him, but it's the number of design runs that I think Bills fans are more aware of as the game goes on. I think there are three factors, quite honestly. I don't think they're going to necessarily run the ball more, but I think they want to be able to run more effectively when they need to run. And as you said, not use the quarterback. Devin Singletary, the last month or two of last season, played his best football as a Bill. He's back. Zach Moss, who is a big physical guy or a bigger physical back, he would be your short yardage back. He was really banged up last season. He's healthy, and he could be a factor there. In terms of the running game overall, this isn't necessarily a short yardage guy, but if you want more help for the running game, they drafted James Cook. And we didn't see a lot of him in the preseason, but a lot of us believe there's a role coming for him in this offense. He adds a dynamic quickness, explosiveness, skill set that they don't necessarily get from Singletary or Moss. So I do believe, I think we'll see them calling Allen's number less, and I do believe they have options. But they're not going to run the ball more. This is still very much a passing-based offense and should be.
Howard, appreciate you fitting us in your workday. Good luck to you and the Bills this season, and hopefully we can check in again later on in the year.
Anytime, guys. My pleasure. You guys have a good day.
Howard Simon does mornings, WGR 550 in Buffalo. You can follow him on Twitter, HSimon62. He is one of the few in upstate New York that is not a homer. It's probably why he's back at the ranch and every other media member.
Someone had to get up in the morning to do a show, David.
Right. Every other media member in Buffalo is in Los Angeles. Okay. But Howard stayed back, but he is the straight shooter.
He drew the short straw. I was going to open up with the parade route in the paper.
Bills and Rams tonight. Bills a 2.5-point favorite. And is the stat 10? Are there 10 home dogs week 1 in the NFL?
You may be right.
There are a ton of home dogs.
I've got a bunch of games that are listed no line right now, but tonight, home dog. Lions, Eagles. Lions are a home dog. Houston, Indianapolis. Houston is a home dog. The Bears against the Niners. The Bears are a home dog. The Jets are a home dog. The Falcons are a home dog.
Jets playing the Ravens.
Falcons are playing the Saints. The Cardinals are playing the Chiefs. I believe they are a home dog. The Vikings are a slight home dog against the Packers. The Cowboys are a home dog against the Cowboys. And the Seahawks are a home dog against the Broncos. 10 home dogs in week 1.
Now, there was a time in which you just bet them all. I mean, it's home field advantage is not the advantage.
No, it is not.
And so to get a home dog, although week 1, there is a stat out there about week 1 home dogs, particularly if it's a division game. Week 1 home dogs against the number in a division game, it's like 75+% against the number.
Saints are your home dog, or Saints are home favorite road favorite rather, against the Falcons. Easy for me to get that out. Your Falcons are your home divisional dog, David, and the Texans are a home divisional dog.
And so are the Vikings against the Packers. Miller and Moulton. Get your fantasy football questions ready. The doctor's making a house call next.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119. You are listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Obviously, go Raiders. We have nothing to do with that. No, they're just Get it turned on in the morning. That's our role.
What's that?
Twitch. There was some editing that was done, and it was done not by us.
Huh?
One of the comments had Redskins in it, and so it got highlighted.
Oh.
And Go Raiders, who made the comment, was like, what the heck's going on? And I just assured him, I go, well, it's not us. Well, I mean, it's a dysfunctional, sarcastic family show.
That must just be a word they have in their system.
Yeah. If any of you have a fantasy question, who to start this week or what have you?
Better get them in.
Yeah. Get them in now.
He's on hold. We're back in 10.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
"22 minutes before the hour, and we are thrilled to have the doctor back in the house with us this year. Dr. Roto, SiriusXM's Fantasy Radio, also drroto.com, drroto.com. It is a great site. It is informative. He's put together a terrific staff. If fantasy sports is your thing, well, you better be hooked up to drroto.com, and you can follow him on Twitter at drroto, drroto. Doc, it's David and Mark. How the hell have you been?
It is great to speak to you guys. We're doing another year of this, and I can't believe we're here. It's football tonight. It's going to be a great game, too.
All right. For those listening for the first time, I would like to ask one just general question. How many fantasy teams do you have this year?
This year, I'm in 25 leagues, which is probably 10 too many. But we're doing 25. I'm in about 15 to 18 high-stakes leagues, and then a bunch of expert leagues and the home league.
All right, let's get to some questions. Go Raiders wants to know your thoughts on Isaiah Likely in Baltimore.
Look, I like the player, and I think they're going to run some 2 tight end sets. I can see him being used primarily in the red zone because he's a big dude. But, I mean, is he Mark Andrews? No. Does he know the playbook? I can't tell you that. Sometimes tight ends take a couple of years to get with the system. But, look, if this guy at a standard league or a half-point PPR league, I think he could get 5 or 6 touchdowns from him. But in a PPR league, I think he's going to be overvalued.
If you want to text the show, 21,000 is the number. If you've never texted before, the keyword is FSN Radio. FSN Radio, all one word, and then the number 21,000. Text in your fantasy questions for Dr. Roto. Like this gentleman said, should I handcuff Davis to JK or just put him on the watch list?
I mean, look, Mike Davis is going to last as long as J.K. Dobbins is not 100%. When J.K. Dobbins comes back, Mike Davis is an afterthought. I mean, he couldn't even stay with the Falcons last year. So look, he's a jag, the guy you put in there until you throw him out. So Really, he's got, I would think, 2 to 4 week value at the most. I'm not interested.
All right. MFH Law has a question in the Twitch chat room. He did a Bills stack tonight. Diggs, Allen, Davis, your thoughts?
Yeah, I think he's onto something there. If you're going to stack a team, you're going to stack the Bills. Love Gabriel Davis, love Josh Allen, love Stephon Diggs in a game that always, you always say 2 great defenses, but these games are always high scoring, right? In the NFL, you never see a 17-13 game. You're more likely to see a 37-34 game. So you stack your Bills, you got a real good chance to be my rich friend.
All right, just curious on that tonight. You like the Bills and Rams to score a lot of points. Give me a couple other games you're looking at on the slate that you think game flow will be. And as I said to Dave before the show, Doc can sit there and say, I think it's going to be this guy, but more than likely Doc looks at a game and says, this is where I see a lot of points. What games are you looking at that you see a lot of points being scored week 1?
Yeah, there's 3 games that I'm really targeting. The first game is the Chiefs and Cardinals, and that game should be a real high-scoring game. I see both quarterbacks going over 300 yards. The Cardinals defense is suspect for me. Mahomes is going to feast. This being a high-scoring game. I think West games are going to be high-scoring. So you have Herbert, you have Eckler. The problem is, like you just said, Mark, is it Keenan Allen or Mike Williams? I can't tell you exactly that. I like them both, but I like that game to be a real high-scoring game. And then the one that I think is going to surprise people, I think the Vikings-Packers can go 2 ways. This could be a 2016 game where the Packers slow it down and bleed the clock dry, or if the Vikings' dynamic offense with Kevin O'Connell can get ahead. Maybe it's 7-0. Maybe it's 10-0. Now Aaron Rodgers is going to be forced to pass that football, and now that game could be, 30-27, and I want a piece of a 57-point game.
Dr. Roto, drroto.com, drroto.com. You can follow him on Twitter at Dr. Roto as well. Listen, one of the things when you did our fantasy football summit a month ago, one of the things that you said is, I only like to draft one quarterback and I only like to draft one tight end. Well, if your tight end's Kittle, all right, what are you thinking right now?
Probably should have drafted Darren Waller, not because I don't like George Kittle. I do. But Trey Lance could be a little bit of a mess. So here's the beauty of Trey Lance. He is so much better in fantasy than he'll probably be in real life. What if I told you he runs for 70 yards and a touchdown, and he throws for 160 yards and a touchdown? So there, I gave you what it comes out to be about 25 to 27 fantasy points. But is that a great day in the box score? No. So Kittle, if Trey Lance goes 14 for 23 for 160 yards, what's Kittle going to realistically get? That's the problem with Kittle. There may be some good games, but there are a whole lot more of those good games when Jimmy G was the quarterback.
And also, Mark, he apparently got hurt in practice this week and didn't practice yesterday, and his status is up in the air for Sunday.
All right, couple of questions off the text line. And again, that number is 21,000, the keyword FSN radio, if you've not texted the show before. This one just asks a season outlaw, Rachaad White or James Robinson?
Rachaad all day. I mean, if you ever watch Draft Day, do you remember when Kevin Costner writes down Vontae Mack or bust? I had on all my draft things Rachaad White or bust. I didn't get him in one league. I think I'm in 24 out of 25 leagues, and I'm really upset about that. Guy's good. And if Leonard Fournette misses his usual 3 to 6 games, White is going to feast.
Twitch chat room, SEC me, half-point PPR league. He says, can you pick one, Doc? Michael Thomas, Rashad Penny, A.J. Dillon.
Well, it's not Rashad Penny against Denver for sure. Look, Michael Thomas should have a good game, but, I mean, is he going to see A.J. Terrell in coverage? That interesting. I mean, that's a problem. A.J. Terrell is one of the best cover cornerbacks in all the NFL. I will take A.J. Dillon there. It's close, but I'll take A.J. Dillon there. I think there are a lot of guys in New Orleans. You got Kamara. You got Olave. You got Landry. You got Michael Thomas. I know they want to get Thomas involved, but this isn't a Drew Brees offense either. It's a Jameis Winston. Give me A.J. Dillon, who looks really good, and I think that Dillon and Aaron Jones are going to really have a tremendous season. And I know that sounds crazy. You might even be able to start both those guys.
All right, I got a quarterback question here. Winston or Joe Burrow? Who are you starting?
I'm starting Joe Burrow. I mean, I think that's just better player, better team. Like Jameis, but, you drafted Joe Burrow for a reason.
Gentleman asks, I just took a look at my team after drafting them, and I think my running backs stink. Do you have a sleeper running back that you think is, still available in most leagues?
Well, it depends on his league. It's funny, Felipe, before I came on, he's like, I took Damian Pierce in round 9. Remember, we gave that name out at the Fantasy Football
Yes,
Summit.
you did.
So, and then all of a sudden now he's going round 4 and 5. So if anybody was there that day, you capitalized on that. How about Rex Burkhead? I know that sounds crazy, backing up Pierce because they don't have Marlon Mack anymore, and Burkhead can catch the ball a little bit. How about Amir Abdullah for the Raiders? I think he's going to be involved on third downs a lot. So, I mean, I don't know how deep that guy's league goes, but if your league is going super, super deep, those are some sleeper names.
Pick one: Deontay Johnson, Chase Edmonds, or Gabe Davis. Who you starting this week?
I will start Gabriel Davis. Deontay Johnson has a shoulder injury. He should play, but I hate the Mitch Trubisky ride. It's not a good one at the park. It always breaks down. So I'll go Gabe Davis.
That sounds like a guy that's been to a lot of county fairs right there.
Listen, so how much of the decisions that you make are based on last year versus do you make a majority of your decisions on trying to prognosticate what it is you think is going to happen this year?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. I think that people spend too much time worrying about 2021 stats. You look at 2021, but you'd have to say, what is this team going to do in 2022? Are there different coaches there? Are they running a different offense? What new players do they bring in? So the problem is this may be the hardest week in fantasy football. And I would argue even next week too. The first 2 weeks are hard. You're going to see names in the box score that you didn't expect to see. You're going to see guys in the field. You're like, who's this guy? And then guys that you expected to have big weeks may not. So, for example, what if George Pickens goes 2 for 31 this week against the Bengals? Does he suck? No, they just used him differently than you expected. So, we look at 2021 to evaluate 2022. But if you do that too much, you will lose your league. And I'm not about losing my league. I'm trying to look forward, but I have to starting this week to pay very close attention to see what's going on because the littlest thing that changes, we have to be on it.
What are your thoughts on Michael Thomas this year?
Look, I think he's a good player. I don't know if he's the same Michael Thomas as we remember. So I'm very interested in seeing that. I don't know how motivated he is. I'm interested to see that. How is Jameis Winston going to throw the football? So there's a lot of there's a reason he went in round 7, right? There's a reason he went in round 7. This guy used to be a round 1 player.
Yeah.
So now let's figure out who is Michael Thomas. So in all my 25 leagues, I don't have him in any league. That doesn't mean I don't like him. Just meant that I chose to go elsewhere because I just didn't trust him.
You were a big ETN guy, if I remember correctly, at the Fantasy Football Summit. Now, what are your thoughts about James Robinson, kept out of the preseason, but Doug Peterson and company indicating, yeah, that was strategic, but he's, full speed ahead here beginning week 1. Does that change your thoughts, whether about ETN, or does it change your thoughts on Robinson?
A little on Robinson. I expected him to miss some weeks. But I love the player. I mean, this is a guy that, I've touted on your show before for years. I told you I like James Robinson. So I think what we're looking at with him is he's the first down guy. Travis Etienne is for sure the third down guy. The question is the second downs. Or are the Jaguars winning or losing the game? If they're winning, there's more Robinson. If they're losing, which is more likely, there's more Etienne. So is Etienne still a second-round pick? Probably not. But if I'm drafting in the third or fourth round, the upside is great. This is a guy who probably can catch 5 to 6 passes a game and probably get 40 to 50 yards rushing a game. You put those two things together, you still have a fantasy talent.
Etienne or Edmonds is a question I've got on the text line.
It's a really good question. I'll take Etienne, but it's close. I do like Chase Edmonds a lot. But the question also there is how involved is Mostert going to be? McDaniel brought Mostert over from San Francisco. He likes him. He's going to make a play. That guy always makes a play. But he went to the Rashad Penny School of Injury. He's always injured too.
All right. Everybody seems to be back on the McCaffrey wagon, that he's, number 1 overall choice type guy, believing that, hey, he's going to be healthy. Well, then shouldn't you be damn near that high on Saquon?
You should be. And I drafted in this, it seemed like in most leagues, I was somewhere between 8 and 10 in 20 of my 25 leagues. I've taken Saquon on a bunch of teams. Love him. I think Brian Dable is going to get him in space.
I think there's nobody there. There's no backup. I mean, who are we talking about? Matt Breida? Really? So the Giants are not very good. They're going to be playing from behind. He's going to catch a lot of passes. I love the guy this year. I think he's, if healthy, how is this guy not finishing top 5 in overall running backs?
DFS, give me a running back and a receiver that you think there's some value on this week.
I think Jahan Dotson for the Commanders is 3,400. I think he's an interesting play. Jaguar secondary is not very good. Running back, I think Saquon. Honestly, I think Saquon. He is very well priced right now. He's playing Tennessee. Should be a game where the Giants have as good a chance as they're ever going to have of winning. Don't laugh. Tennessee's not as good as they were last year. So I like that. Saquon and Dawson, get them in.
RCB in our Twitch chat room says, season outlook. You had to pick one. Deebo Samuel, Robbie Anderson, Michael Gallup.
Oh, my God, Deebo Samuel. I mean, Robbie Anderson is closer to being retired than he is being good. Michael Gallup is a good player, but it's like every 3 weeks, it's like nothing, great week, nothing, great week. So good luck picking that out, which of those weeks are going to be. You just never know with Michael Gallup.
All right, give us one in our final minute here. Give us one juicy nugget for our audience.
I think people are underestimating the Vikings. I think they're underestimating Kevin O'Connell's influence on the Vikings. I think the Vikings are going to get Justin Jefferson in space like O'Connell got Cooper Kupp in space. And I think that you're going to look back on the box score and go, this team is playing a lot better than I thought they would. I don't know if they beat the Packers. I think they should, but they're going to be a lot better, and we're going to wish that you had more Kirk Cousins than you thought.
I love this weekly house call. All right. I know once you start taking house calls, others can take priority, but how about we do this every week?
Nobody takes more priority in Southwest Florida than Miller and Moulton.
Well, thank you for that. He's Dr. Roto. You can hear him nationally on SiriusXM's Fantasy Sports Radio. He's got a great website, drroto.com, drroto.com, and you can follow him on Twitter at Dr. Roto, DRROTO. Doc, thanks so much. Have a great week.
Okay, guys. Talk to you next week.
Dr. Roto, kind enough to join us. That's pretty much how it goes. If you're hearing us in that segment for the first time, that's how we do it. We take very few of those questions were ours. By the way, I'm very proud of you. Very proud of you.
Really?
Yeah. I don't think that many of those questions were, yours for, your team and what have you. And
not a one.
Right.
Not a one. I've kind of taken it back from fantasy from where I was a few years ago.
I'm proud of you.
Very left-handed compliment over there, Mr.
No,
Moulton.
it wasn't.
Very left-handed. Tampa, St. Pete, Lake City, Port Charlotte, we thank you for listening. The bonus hour is next. Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just worked with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K. Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa filters.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts.
FLGolfCarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, FLGolfCarts.com. FLGolfCarts.com. Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today. You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
We never did the clutch play. Do you want to do it in this hour?
I'm sorry, I didn't have my headset on.
Yes.
Yeah?
Next segment.
Like this coming up one right now?
No.
The one after. Gotcha. I got the radio call.
That's good. And we'll use it. You'll have hand, and you'll use it.
I never got to ask the doctor my sole question.
You didn't ask him when you had him on the phone?
I tried to reach him after, but he hung up. I was going to ask him Sutton or Juju.
I'll text him.
Oh, I mean, you don't have to. I know he was high on both of them, so I took both of them.
Yeah, I'm in one league with my kid and it's his cousin, my cousin through my first marriage, and a few others. And he and his I know his roommate really well, and they're both blowing me shit about my draft pick. I'm going, you guys really questioning my draft pick over your draft pick?
Is it a Roto team?
Yeah.
Oh, I got a Roto team.
ATN, Davis.
Oh my goodness.
The only what? ATN, Davis.
I got Swift, Pittman, Komet is my tight end.
Jefferson.
Yeah, I got Jefferson too.
But I
Olave on my bench.
I just laughed because they were just going over the ratings. I ended up with all these good receivers that were hurt. I'm laughing because they're not taking Godwin early. I'm like, I got Godwin late. I'm like, all right. But I was just laughing. They're texting me all this crap going, right, I'm like, Yahoo gave me a D+ for my draft.
Yeah, whatever.
Nice.
My last pick was Pacheco. So I was like, if Clyde sucks, never know.
I got Aaron Rodgers and don't like my quarterback.
I have Aaron Rodgers too.
Don't like my quarterback.
Was really pissed off I didn't get Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, it's tough.
And I don't know anything about fantasy, but I did read something in which something like what Roto was saying, your Lance averaged in his 2 starts last year 60 yards a game rushing.
Yes.
So, I don't know how the points go and, fantasy and all that, but that's why I found Roto's answer interesting, in which he goes, if he rushes for 70, but throws for like $175, and gives you a rushing touchdown and a passing touchdown.
Yep.
You know,
That's all you need.
next thing you know, it's a 25 or 27-point day.
That's what made Jalen Hurts a top 3 quarterback
Yeah.
in fantasy last year. Exactly that.
That was who I wanted.
Sutton, by the way, the answer is Sutton.
Sutton? Okay, good. Sutton's there right now. Come back.
You are listening to Miller and Moulton, exclusively on the Florida Sports Network. And now, here's Mark Miller and David Moulton.
It is the bonus hour on this first day of the NFL season. Thanks so much for being with us. Miller and Moulton, the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. Poll question, Bills, the betting favorite to win the Super Bowl. Well, that's been a while. We asked, will they get to the big game? It's been 50-50 most of the show. That's our poll question. Will the Bills get to the Super Bowl? They are is clear too strong a word, or is that accurate? The clear favorite to win the Super Bowl, whether it be Vegas, never mind all the talking head prognosticators
Yes.
in the national media.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
So there you have it. That's our poll question. That Mark Miller, the David Moulton on Twitter, floridasportsnetwork.com, and vote accordingly.
When you say clear favorite, though, you're describing them almost as a super team. Would you say they're a super team?
No. That's overwhelming favorite. Okay.
Okay.
Clear favorite.
Means
Okay.
that there's a difference.
Ohio State is the clear favorite to win the Big Ten this year. That's what I mean by clear favorite.
Okay.
They're not the clear favorite to win the national championship. They're not the clear favorite to get to the national championship game.
And I would actually say Ohio State's the overwhelming favorite to win the Big Ten. But
all right. So,
Georgia's the overwhelming favorite to win the SEC East.
Clemson's the clear favorite to win the ACC. Is that
Yes.
fair enough?
Yes.
We think Miami's going to be good. Wake Forest, thankfully, is getting their quarterback back this week. Some people were very high on NC State this year, but Clemson is the clear favorite to win the ACC. I feel that the Bills are Clemson.
Ooh.
Is that fair enough? That there are other good teams in the AFC, just like we think the ACC is much improved this year. Much improved. But that nobody at the end of the day is going to have anything for Clemson.
And as good as we think the AFC is this year, the Bills are the clear favorite by Vegas and by the prognosticators and by everybody else's estimation. This is a Super Bowl or bust year for the Buffalo Bills. Wow. Can they handle the pressure that they've applied from within as well? Because they think the same thing.
Howard Simon from WGR in Buffalo, we had him on last hour, and he's like, yeah, it's all fair. And they are better than they were last year. Clearly better, he believes. Now, I will say, interesting little game within the game tonight. Buffalo's without their top corner. Cooper Kupp is tough enough to stop if you've got your top corner. But when you don't have your top corner, I mean, no offense, Buffalo, we've seen your secondary in the past going up against elite wide receivers. And you're really good going up against wide receivers and teams that are on a scale of 1 to 10 below an 8. But you haven't had a lot of success when you're going up against the offenses and the wide receivers that are 8.5 or above.
And as Roto pointed out, Allen Robinson there now, that's another target for Matt Stafford, as Adam Schefter reporting this morning that Stafford underwent a shoulder procedure or an elbow procedure in the offseason.
But he also threw in there that Stafford is claiming he feels better at this time this year than he did at this time last year, which goes to show you how good organizations can be at keeping secrets. I mean, anybody have any idea Stafford played all last year through an elbow injury?
No. And any idea that he had a procedure done when all they were talking about was Stafford's elbow? And for the last month, we've been talking about Stafford's elbow.
Right.
We find out this morning from Adam Schefter that he had a procedure done.
When he misses a game, I'll get concerned. When all of a sudden you see them not running some of the plays that they normally run because they don't think he can get the ball downfield, then I'll be concerned. Until that.
And every time they show a graphic on whether it's NFL Network, the 4-letter network of Stafford and about the elbow, they'll show a wide angle shot of practice in which he is throwing 140-yard ball, 50-yard ball, just tossing them one after another. So I'm with you. When he starts missing games, then we can have the alarm for concern ring with the Rams.
I do like the Bills tonight, though. I do, in part because it's opening night. You know, we've seen it where the home team's actually a little distracted. They're still living off of last year, the big pregame ceremony and the whole deal. And the visitor just comes in and,
it just gets them angrier and angrier.
Yeah, and they're fired up. They're playing the team that won the Super Bowl last year. It's, one of the games you circle. Now, Buffalo's played in enough primetime games here in the last 3 years that this shouldn't be as big a deal for them as it would have been a year or two ago. But, I mean, last year was kind of the year where we saw a lot of Bills in the primetime games, and goodness knows we're going to see them a lot again this year.
Oh, yes, we are. And that has Bills fan concerned as well. They want Sunday at 1. They're not. It'll be fascinating to me. I'm more fascinated if the Bills lose tonight than if they win. And I'm picking the Bills to win. But because of the fevered pitch at which their fan base and the media has the Bills, if they lose week 1, I just want to see the concern. You and I both know the text we'll get from the Bills fans that we know in our lives.
Remember last year, Bills lost week 1 at home to Pittsburgh when they had a lead at the half. They were in control of the game, in fact, at the half. Steelers came out.
That stupid block punt?
Well, and the Steelers came out in the whole second half and just punched them in the mouth. Ratcheted up physically, and the Bills wilted. So, Von Miller returns to Los Angeles, this time as a Bill. I'm wondering, does he get to participate in the pregame ring ceremony? Or do they just, slip it to an equipment manager and say...
Does he have to come out for the opening coin toss just so he can get his ring?
And it's a monster ring, by the way. Monster.
The top comes off, and buried in the ring is SoFi.
Right.
Yes.
I mean, the ring is like the stadium.
I mean, how obscure have these Super Bowl rings gotten over the years? It's ridiculous.
I don't know. I mean, first off, I don't think you wear them very often. Would you wear a Super Bowl ring?
I was just going to ask. Now, I was lucky enough and fortunate enough in my minor league hockey career to win a ring with a team that I worked for.
Right.
When the playoffs would start for the next few years that I broadcasted hockey, once the playoffs started, I would wear the ring to playoff games.
Hoping that it would kind of give your team a little mojo.
Well, and I remember the first year that I put it on, the players were all like, "What's that?" And I'd just get on the bus or walk to the rink, and I never made a big deal about it. But when the playoffs started, I always wore it on my right hand. And players knew. It was like, all right, I see that. I see that over there. So I would always put it on for that. But these Super Bowl rings, I mean, you'd have to wear it as a damn necklace or maybe a hat. Now, I'm not sure.
By the time I'm your guys' age, it's going to be like brass knuckles.
It's going to be the whole, you're done.
Super Bowl.
Is that a ring size? No, that's a fist size. Thank you.
Yeah.
Then we'll really find out what quarterbacks have small hands.
There you go.
Hello. Miller and Moulton here on the Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. But should be an entertaining game tonight. I think we'll all be disappointed if it's not an entertaining game. After all, the spread is 3 or less, depending on where it is you looked. Last place I looked, it was 2.5. got an over-under of 52, so they're thinking, 27, 24, 28, 25, that sort of deal for a game. That would be entertaining. If each team's basically scoring a touchdown a quarter, all right. No Al Michaels tonight. The new era begins tonight.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. This doesn't bother me as much as it bothers others. One, I think Tirico's terrific. I think he's as solid as there is in the business. It doesn't matter. He could do the game tonight, go do the U.S. Open tomorrow, and if there's a track and field event, he could pull that off on Saturday and be equally as good for all. I was going to
say, and then he could fly to England and do this golf Saturday and then come back and do Bucs Cowboys on Sunday.
Right.
He is the most versatile of the big-time sportscasters.
And I don't think it's close.
No, I don't either. Don't think, though, that he has the voice that when you hear Mike Tirico, you know how when you heard Brent Musburger, you knew it was a big deal. You hear Al Michaels, you know it's a big deal. I think it's the same way, and I may be a little biased, I think it's the same way with Joe Buck. If you hear Joe Buck, you're like, oh, this is a game of some consequence here.
I'm with you on Buck 100%, and I wonder if it'll still be the same way now that he's doing Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I wonder.
Because that doesn't hold the same spot as it once did.
It doesn't.
Do they elevate Monday Night Football? Will be interesting to find out this year.
He's versatile because I miss basketball Mike Tirico. Basketball Mike Tirico was awesome.
There's not anything he's bad at.
No.
When he did hockey, and I'm watching the game and I'm going, wait a minute, is that Tirico? And I'm like, that's Tirico.
He did hockey?
Yeah.
And did it well.
And he had done it.
And
he had never done it.
I had never hated Mike Tirico until that very moment because hockey, I'm a hockey play-by-play guy. Everybody says hockey's the hardest sport to do. I thought I was pretty decent at it. And to see Tirico walk right in and pick it up as if he'd been doing it for 20 years, I'm like, you blankety blank.
Yeah, the final year or so that NBC had hockey, Tirico jumped in. Doc had his schedule had gotten smaller, and then you had the pandemic, and so Tirico jumped in the last year or two that NBC had hockey, and did it, and he had never done it before. And you're right, Mark. He stepped right in, and you were like, "Damn, he's
good."
I know. It is disheartening to the rest of us.
It really was.
It's like, come on, you couldn't have 3 hours where you needed adjustment, 3 hours where it sounded like a preseason game. Come on, Mike. But I don't think his voice, his skill level is elite. But I don't think his voice, certain broadcasters, even Nance, we've heard Nance do so many big events, 30 Final Fours, 25 Masters, a half dozen Super Bowls. When you hear Jim Nance, you think, oh, wow, this event's got some consequence.
And I just even think if they walked into a room and all just said hello, they would all have a certain something to them, where I don't know if Tirico walks into a room and commands a room with his voice, but he's an 11 skill-wise, just a 7 voice-wise. Miller and Moulton, we got to get to something we forgot 2 hours ago next. Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
Bring your big mouth to John Smith Subs and indulge in their overstuffed subs with the freshest quality ingredients. Enjoy our famous steak bomb with perfectly grilled marinated sirloin steak topped with provolone cheese, grilled onions, peppers, mushrooms, crispy bacon, juicy tomatoes, and creamy mayo. Boom! Made-to-order crispy fries can be paired with the Gator, the Cuban, the Chicken Bomb, or the Italian. Love local. Eat delicious with John Smith Subs. Find a John Smith Subs location near you today.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Taylor Gooch went back after Horschel on Twitter.
Mm-hmm.
Jesus.
Well, he went after him and he said, yeah, you haven't been playing this event either.
Right.
I'm sorry, but this man's last name is Gooch. How? What is the origin?
Actually, I thought that Roto segment went.
I did too.
You know, the questions were solid, and
And
I
I
will
think
say he's glad to be doing the segment. I mean, he enjoys it. The day and time works for him, and his health's better than when we had him.
Yeah.
You know,
You can tell. I think the follow-up might be because I'm going to do that every week of the game flow, because I think that's a better question for the masses, if you know what I mean. But we might be followed up with what's the ones that you see, what's the game you see as low scoring that everybody else sees as high scoring? What game could go the other way and why?
I forgot who it was who asked me about the PA job. One thing I'm really not excited for. I have a game on Sunday at 1 p.m.
Yep. Good luck with that.
Mm-hmm.
what was that?
He's got a game on Sunday at 1.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
No Dolphins for me.
Do you guys have DVR?
Oh, of course. But
Okay,
I'm trying to indulge myself in some red zone.
I understand.
Football crack. I used to love it when Tarico would hit us with a got 'em all.
I will say I was never a huge red zone guy. Okay, because first off, but since started traveling the last 5 seasons, it helps me out a lot to be able to do this show with you. And fortunately, it's on in the booth for the 1 o'clock. Fox, we used to do the 420 games. So they would put Red Zone on at 1 o'clock, which was awesome for me.
Are you getting out early most Sundays that you'll be able to sit in a hotel room and watch some football this year, you think?
I have to make the decision. Do I go like first thing, or I can then sit? Because apparently they have a big Sunday setup in a room.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. And now, more of Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
$21 past the hour. Miller and Moulton, Florida Sports Network, floridasportsnetwork.com. We were just talking about announcers with Al Michaels not being part of NBC and their Sunday Night Football team anymore. Mike Tirico taking his place tonight with Collinsworth and Melissa Stark. That's the new broadcast team on NBC. Jeff in Iowa chimed in our Twitch chat room. There's certain announcers that when we hear their voice, we think, hey, this is a fairly big deal. He mentioned Bob Costas.
And to me, when you went through it, Musburger is the guy in my head. That if
you heard him?
Because at the time I grew up, and Musburger seemingly did every damn big game.
Well, throughout the 80s, he was the voice of CBS. I mean, when those contract negotiations, and it was sudden, CBS at the end of the day finally said, you know what, Brent, we're walking away from you. You're asking for too much. His brother handled his negotiations. And you realized at that time all that he did. He was associated with their NBA coverage, although they were just about to lose the NBA to NBC. Obviously, the NFL Today. He actually did, the Masters, not the booth. Okay. But,
right.
He would do Butler Cabin, and he wasn't good at it. Didn't have the jargon down. Took some heat for it. But basically everything that CBS did, he was a part of.
And then was Jim Nantz.
Yeah, and still is.
And still is.
It still is. I'm a little surprised. I'm surprised that they haven't talked him out of giving up one of the big three. He's not going to give up golf and the Masters, and he's not going to give up the NFL. I'm a little surprised they haven't been able to talk him into, hey, you've done 30 of these Final Fours. What do you say you give Ian Eagle a shot, or Kevin Harlan or something like that? I'm a little surprised at that.
And with the great longtime announcers in college, we talked about this earlier in the week, I am ecstatic for the 2 new announcers in Florida to get signature games this early. Big games, big wins, ones that get played over and over and gets that broadcaster ingrained in the fans' hearts and minds, because when you're replacing legends, it's hard. It's not going to go well typically the first year. So I was fired up for both the new Gators and new Knowles announcer to get those big games early in their tenure.
And something to keep in mind, Gene Deckerhoff is no longer the voice of the Knowles, but this is his final year as voice of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So,
right. Someone else is firing the cannons next year, David.
But you get one more year of firing the cannons, at least.
And just for how long? For how long?
17, 18, 19, 20, 21. How many more does he have in him?
I have 20. You have 21.
Right. I have his final game being in the Super Bowl. Losing, but being in the Super Bowl. Nobody would be interested in Brady's final game in the Super Bowl. That wouldn't generate any attention at all. Think Giselle would go?
All depends what's going on at the water park, David. All depends what's going on. She may be in town, but there may be an event she wants to go to that day.
I mean, where is it this year? It's in Phoenix, right?
Yes.
I mean, I don't know.
She'll probably take the golf tournament in during the day, and then maybe she'll stop over at halftime.
Oh, boy.
So we owe Anthony an apology from Clutch Vodka, because We were set.
Yeah,
5:30 this morning, we had our Clutch Vodka play of the day.
I know. And we normally run it during the second segment of the 7 o'clock hour.
Correct.
7:25.
We ran the commercial where we were supposed to.
We previewed, I think that we promo that it was coming up next segment.
That I don't know.
And then we did LIV golf
Right.
versus the PGA Tour. And then we yelling at each other in England all week.
You guys totally did promo it, by the way. I was like, they're not going to do it.
Now, Felipe, I don't want you to think that you have any blame here, but for as much as you're doing on that side, watching SportsCenter, watching your computer, making phone calls, talking to whoever you talk to, you kind of have one job during the show. And you're in charge of the play of the day audio. So as we bang on the glass to wake you up, during that segment next time, feel free to get the attention of the two hosts and go and
Hey.
lip to us. Play of the day.
Hey, Yahoos, you two Yahoos, you going to do this play of the day thing or not?
So what if next time I just say, that was pretty clutch with a K?
That would be fine.
There you go.
There
Smooth,
you go.
solid, nice.
That would be fine.
Perfect transition.
Exactly. So 2 hours late, we had something happen for the first time this year in Major League Baseball. How many times were there opportunities for a team to come back? Over 800 times did a team have an opportunity to come back from a 4-run deficit in the ninth?
Major League Baseball teams before last night had been 0 for 817 when trailing by 4 or more runs in the ninth inning this year until last night in St. Louis.
Tommy Edman, the batter. He swings and he rifles it deep left field. Call. He reaches and can't catch it. The ball goes off his glove, off the wall. 2-run score. Delusio scores the winner. A Redbird winner. Call couldn't make the play. First pitch swinging again. Tommy Edman is the hero. Light up the night. Light it up in downtown St. Louis as the Cardinals have come all the way back in the ninth inning. A stunning turnaround and a 6-5 victory. Oh, my.
Oh, Dick Udenberg at the end, or Mick Hubert if you're a big Gator fan.
A Redbird win.
It's a great call.
That is. That division's over, man. They're up 9.5. 3 weeks ago, they were playing a series against the Brewers for first place in the division. Now they're up 9.5. That sucker's over. They're the 3 seed.
Believe that's John Rooney, St. Louis Cardinals
Yes.
Radio Network. Great call. Great call. That's good stuff right there.
And they love their baseball. Love their baseball. Could be the number one baseball market in the country.
I think it is.
Yeah, I agree.
New York and Boston are close, but
there are
be
other
the
things
number
that
one.
attract their attention.
Nope.
Was always the fan base at Marlins games that I would say to myself, where are all these people coming from? Why is there so much red here?
Yeah. Nope. Cardinal fans represent. There is no doubt about it.
And that is our Clutch Vodka play of the day, brought to you by Clutch Vodka. That's Clutch with a K. Be on the lookout. Total Wine, they're packaging with NFL teams, and it's going to be special stuff. When it hits the markets, we will let you know. But their stuff with Dolphins in Jacksonville could be very cool, particularly if you're a vodka drinker.
They are Clutch. Clutch Vodka. Miller and Moulton today, not Clutch.
No, not with a C, not with a K, maybe with an F for failing.
There you go. In our Twitch chat room, Yinzer commenting what an organization they really are. I mean, you can have a hell of a debate, and we're not just talking about today. History of the National League, Dodgers or Cardinals. I mean, that's how good you can make the case. That's the second best organization in the history of the sport, the Cardinals. I mean, obviously the Yankees are number one, but I mean, their record is unbelievably impressive going all the way back to World War II. It's been an incredibly well-run organization.
Goldschmidt with a homer last night. He's now one back Schwarber for the home run, leading in RBI, leading in batting average.
Going to win the MVP. Has a chance at the Triple Crown.
First time since the 30s
No,
in the National League.
Oh,
In the National League, right.
Yeah.
Because you had Cabrera and
Right.
then you had,
Yes.
Yaz. So, and is a right-handed hitter, which They always used to say that if anybody was going to, it was going to be a left-handed hitter because of all the right-handed pitching that you see. It's another reason why when Cabrera did what he did, those in baseball were like, my goodness, and a righty did this. So nice that Molina and Pujols and Wainwright, and we don't know if it's Wainwright's last year, but he is 40. I mean, looks as if they're going to end their careers in the postseason. That's cool.
Now we just need Pujols to get to 698.
We're 700. 5 more, Albert. Come on. Miller and Moulton. Enjoy the Bills and the Rams tonight. Football Friday tomorrow.
Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports show. That was a while ago.
Yes, it was. Just work with me. Everyone liked the pod, the Play of the Day. So how about we have the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day?
Sounds good. Fun. Smooth. Like Clutch Vodka.
Listen weekday mornings for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
That's Clutch with a K.
David Moulton for Napa, Napa Auto Parts, and Napa Filters. Insist on Napa Filters for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters. Napa has a filter for almost anything on earth that moves, whether it's motorcycles, foreign and domestic cars, vans, SUVs, earth-moving equipment. You get the idea. Napa Auto Parts, Napa Filters. Insist on them for your vehicles, or if you're a do-it-yourselfer, only buy Napa Filters.
Golfers, are you bored of the same old driving range warm-up routine that's not getting you the results that you want on the course? Power up your golf swing by adding resistance bands to your range sessions with the Orange Whip Golf's Power Strap Kit. Featuring band attachments to your feet and hips, Power Strap resistance training will boost club head speed, increase power, improve flexibility, all with just a few swings. Buy a Power Strap Kit today. Go to orangewhipgolf.com and use code Miller10 to receive an additional 10% off the already great price of $119.
Mark Miller for SWFL Golf Carts, or online, flgolfcarts.com. If you're looking for a golf cart, an e-bike, or an e-motorcycle, go visit Alex and the gang at SWFL Golf Carts. flgolfcarts.com online. Check out their whole inventory. If you're looking for a custom cart, they can take care of you. 2-seater, 4-seater, 6-seater, they've got you covered. E-bikes, nobody better for value and service. E-motorcycles, check them out. Again, flgolfcarts.com. flgolfcarts.com.
You were listening to Miller and Moulton on the Florida Sports Network.
Which is why this nap's going to be just fucking glorious today. Cuban coffee around 5. Having chicken wings for dinner.
Chicken wings.
Chicken wings.
Chicken wings.
Oh. That's sexy right there. That is dirty.
Can't wait to have my mango habanero wings from Wicked Wings tonight.
What do you go? Mango
habanero.
At Wicked Wings?
So good.
Their wings are they're great. They're too big.
I don't mind.
They're huge, though.
They are big. But
how many do you get?
So they have like a meal where it's, I believe, 6 or 7, but a bunch of fries. And their fries are delicious.
How much do they charge you for the meal?
I think it's $12, but after tax, I tip, it's like $15-16. Not terrible, but like,
right.
Hey, it's football, I'll pay.
No. They've got that was a Buffalo Chips for a while. There's a place in Bonita, Buffalo Chips.
Mm-hmm.
Chip, whatever the guy's name that owns it, and he's a Buffalo dude. And I think they've got the best wings in town. That became a Buffalo Chips and then got sold to the Wicked Wings, but they've got the Buffalo Chips recipe. They're some of the best wings down here. I just think they're oversized.
I don't know what Buffalo Chips is.
It's on Old 41 in Bonita.
Okay.
You can walk across the street and get a Crack Rock and go out back and probably get a BJ. It is not in the nicest area of town.
Get some of that blue stuff.
Telling you, you can go down Rosemary and get whatever you want after 7 o'clock at night.
Ooh. Chalmers, Cole, James.
I got to go see my buddy Grandpa. You know, basically these shows around this time of year are just basically the history of U.S. Open tennis. Today in U.S. Open tennis.
Was it, you said 05 the last time an American man?
06.
And it was Roddick.
In the U.S. Open, the last American male to reach the semis was Roddick in 06. The last American male to reach a Grand Slam semi was Isner at Wimbledon 4 years ago.
That's right.
But at the Open, it's been 16 years.
My God, Isner, wasn't he destroyed by Djokovic? Something like that. I don't know.
It sounds about right.
Mm-hmm.
Jake, you are right. There is only one way to do wings. It's extra crispy and it's hot. I have no problem with a mango habanero. I have
like
no problem
having,
with.
yeah.
I have no problem with a garlic parm, but the right way to do wings is extra crispy and hot.
Yeah. I'm not really picky with my wings. I like them hot. I like them sweet. I like chicken wings. Toss them in whenever you want, man. I got you.
I may be smoking all my wings on the grill tonight.
I'm salivating right now.
Damn, Gentry had Jay Leno on his podcast this week.
You mean former Pelicans head coach Alvin Gentry?
No, Gentry, buddy of ours that used to
I was joking.
Work with me on when I did a show, worked with David when he did a show.
He's Shaq's right-hand guy on a few things.
Oh, yeah. I think you've told me that before.
He's the one responsible for all of our music we play on our rejoiners because it's all music he made. It's all digitally
coded. Gentry, I love you, man.
Welcome back to Miller and Moulton, only on the Florida Sports Network.
Miller and Moulton. David left. I don't know if you caught that last segment. I'm wondering if he's got us out in the car and if he'll turn around. Because he ended the show even though it was only 9:30.
I was really confused by that.
I was too.
Like, have you checked the time?
And he's the one that has to make sure the clock is always set.
He is sitting right next to the clock.
So every day we start the show with, before the show, what time is it? Does the time work? Hey, welcome back. You know we go till 10 around here.
Since when? How long have we been doing this?
Been a while. We've been on, it's almost a year we've been going till 10.
So glad he came back. I was about to give my picks for the NFL season. I know Mark would not have enjoyed that.
I thought you were gone. I can handle this last segment without you.
I know you. Most of it's you, actually. I mean, I really could sneak out. I'm telling you right now, there's a week in which I've already booked a flight in which I got to be done at 9:30.
I'm going to get you back in October. It doesn't matter. I got something sent to me this week that was alarming.
What's that?
A jury summons.
Well, I mean, you don't know that you're going to be called.
When you're number one, you got a pretty good chance.
Wow.
Number one. Unbelievable.
Oh, you deserve it.
I
You've avoided that.
I've
for a
avoided
long
this
time.
for most of my life. So I will go in and say I'm the most opinionated radio host in the world, and hopefully I'm out of there really quickly.
Which side do you represent? Yeah, I hate your side. Right. It's tough for us to get seated. I was nearly seated. I've made the final list. They brought us into the room, and then literally as they're about to seat us, they come in and they go, "Nah, we negotiated."
Can't believe I have to do this.
Nah, relax. Hell. Probably be on for the 9 o'clock hour. You get down there at 8, you'll be done at 8:40.
It's a pretty good chance of that. Time now for?
It's time for someone to take back this segment, if for no other reason than to stop David from talking about Meghan and Harry. Here's Mark Miller with Today Was the Day When.
Oh,
Hey,
boy.
it's not Meghan and Harry.
No, it's not.
It's Queen Elizabeth.
We are nearing the end.
It seems that way. Chuck has been attending to her every day for a couple of weeks now.
All I know is that when I go to my New York Post app, the very first thing I see is fears for the Queen. If they're reporting it, David, it must be bad. But we start today in 1894, where William Dixon films the first boxing match employed by this guy named Edison, an exhibition bout with the heavyweight champ. 1894. And what did they decide to film? Boxing. 1921, the first Miss America is crowned in Atlantic City. 16-year-old Margaret Gorman of Washington, D.C. would win. Today in 39, at the age of 20, Bob Feller becomes the youngest pitcher to win 20 games. Today in 46, the San Francisco 49ers play their first game. They would lose 21-7 to the New York Yankees. That's right, the New York Yankees. I just like this one for the baseball. It's not the baseball hour, but it's a baseball nugget. Today in 58, Clemente tied a modern record with 3 triples in a game. Today in 60, Psycho is released nationwide, and Wilma Rudolph wins her 3rd gold medal of the Rome Games. Today in 1965, Bert Campaneris for the Kansas City A's plays all 9 positions in one game. Also that same day, a small ad in the Hollywood Reporter and the Daily Variety attracted 437 young men interested in forming the world's first manufactured boy band, the Monkees. 3 were chosen, as Davy Jones had already been cast. A year later, Star Trek premieres on NBC. In 68, Arthur Ashe wins his first first U.S. title of the Open era, doing so in 5 sets. 73, Margaret Court wins her 24th and final Grand Slam singles title. So Connors would win that same day in 74, rather. Connors wins the first of his 5 U.S. titles. And later, or probably before that, Evel Knievel today in 74 attempted to jump the Snake River. The chute would open.
Yep.
He wouldn't make it. And apparently everybody that invested in it lost money on it. 1979, Tracy Austin becomes the youngest U.S. champion at 16 years and 9 months, beating Chrissy Everett in straight sets. Pete Rose would tie Ty Cobb today at 41, 91, and 85.
Even though he actually broke the record that day at Wrigley, because years later, somebody was going through the records and they counted Ty Cobb having 2 hits in a doubleheader twice. And so if you now go back and look historically, when forever it was 41-91, if you take a look at the all-time hits list now, it's 41-89. Rose actually broke the record with that 4-hit day at Wrigley, not the next night in Cincinnati against Eric Schau and the Padres.
85, Lendl beats McEnroe in straight sets for his first U.S. Open title. 86, the Oprah Winfrey Show was first broadcast nationally. 96, Sampras retains his title, beating Michael Chang in straight sets.
Chang, if he had won, would have been number 1 in the world. He was the number 2 seed, and the way it fell points-wise, Chang would have been number 1 in the world if he won that match. Sampras destroyed him.
01, Venus beats Serena to retain her title. 02, Sampras wins his 14th and final slam title, beating Agassi in 4. Also in 2002, the Houston Texans beat the Cowboys 19-10 to become only the 2nd expansion team to win their inaugural game. The other, the 61 Minnesota Vikings. 08, Federer beats Murray for his 5th consecutive U.S. Open title.
I believe it's his last. I don't believe he's won the Open since.
2013, Serena defends her title, beating Azarenka in 3. It was today in 2015 that Stephen Colbert debuts as the new host of The Late Show.
Yep. 7 years since that.
I know.
Yeah, 7 years this past May.
4 years ago, Osaka wins her U.S. Open, beating Serena. 3 years ago, Rafi wins his 19th Grand Slam and 4th U.S. crown. Those born today that are no longer with us: Peter Sellers, Patsy Cline, and Ron Pigpen McCarron from the dead. Those that are celebrating birthdays: Bernie Sanders is just 81. I know, you thought he was older. Rogie Vachon is 77, Latrell Sprewell 52, and Pink is 43 years old today. And that, David, is today was a day when.
The only other thing that happened today, which is noteworthy, you could argue Jimmy Carter won the presidency today in 74, because today was the day that Ford pardoned Nixon.
I had that on the list and didn't put it in there. You're right. You're right.
It was a month after Nixon resigned, almost to the day. I think Nixon announced his resignation on the 8th, and his last day in office was the 9th. And a month later, Ford pardons him, and everybody thought, oh, wow, then apparently this was a package deal. I'll resign, you'll pardon me, you become president. What do you say? So, and of course, Ford said, no, I was just doing it in the best interest of the country, which I actually think he was. And I think history has proven him to be right.
Bubble alert. He'd advanced to the conference finals 2 years ago today. Remember how good the Bucs were in 2020? Yeah, not good enough for Jimmy and the boys.
And there you have it. NFL tonight, Bills and Rams. Buffalo on the road, a 2.5-point favorite. Over under a 52. By the way, 7 baseball games tonight. 3 of them this afternoon.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't matter what order you do it in.
No?
You know, today's been sloppy overall. I mean, you know, should we just do?
Yeah, maybe I'm just off.
You want to leave. That's all there is to it. You have ended the show. It's the second time you've ended the show in the 9 o'clock hour.
In the last 20 minutes.
Can I just get to that damn last part? I want to go home.
Well, anyway, I'm done.
You've heard folks elsewhere mock Florida is gonna Florida. Well, Mark Miller sees it differently. He calls it the good, the bad, and the ugly. What you got, Mark?
The good today has been our show from 6 a.m. until 9:30.
And when Moulton just destroyed it. Man.
For the good today, it's the Wisconsin 2004 quarter. You know, they did all those state quarters. You know, well, apparently on the Wisconsin quarter, there are some of those that have an extra leaf on the back. If you have the extra leaf, that quarter could be worth $2,500. What? That's what I'm saying.
Because there's an extra one?
There's an extra leaf on there. There was only so many made that were made differently. And because of that, the extra high leaf, that's by placement. And it's got a cow, a wheel of cheese, and an ear of corn. And there's leaves on the ear of corn. If you have the extra leaf, your quarter could be worth $2,500.
My dad collected coins. In fact, I can't find the coin collection. It's one of the few things. I can't find my grandmother's Mets yearbooks. She collected the first 24 that they had in franchise history till she passed. And my dad collected coins. He had some rare Buffalo nickels.
Ooh.
He used to tell me that for 1 year, something happened to the printing press or what have you, in which it was only a 3-legged buffalo, that the 4th leg didn't properly appear on the nickel. And he said, that's what you need to find. And
Look at Better Call Saul over here with his coin collection. I
So-
like that. No, I love it. I love it. The other one that was on this list is the 1909 penny that has the letters VDB stamped on it. It was the initials of the designer. One just sold for over $1,100 for a penny. For the bad, we go to Cape Coral, where a brawl broke out in a high school basketball game.
Ooh.
And someone came down from the crowd. It was between Ida Baker and Dunbar High Wednesday evening. And a bystander came down from the stands, punched the coach in the face, and left.
Whoa.
He was identified, has been identified and arrested. No further details are available at this time.
Man, you can't be out.
No, you can't.
It's ridiculous.
For the ugly, we go to Tilton Township, Pennsylvania, where two men decided to tamper with railroad equipment because they wanted a slow night at Wendy's. Not making this up. Ryan Borrow worked at the fast food restaurant on Route 61, and he, along with another coworker, were tampering with railroad equipment, the signal equipment, basically so that they could have a slow night.
You got to do better than that.
I probably do too. They were caught. They were arrested. No word on whether how many people ordered singles, Frosties, or double stacks that day at Wendy's. I'd go the double stack.
It's my go-to. That and the chili when I go through that drive-through.
The 4 for $4?
No, it's not enough food. All right. 2 double stacks and a large chili.
And that's the good, the bad, and the ugly. On today, September the 8th, 2022.
I mean, that'll get me through the next couple hours till I hit the next drive-through. We were talking about sportscasters before and those of prominence, and when you hear their voice, you just thought it was a big deal. CNN reporting in the last hour that legendary newscaster Bernard Shaw passed away yesterday at the age of 82, and they're just finding out. Their family released it within the hour. So Bernard Shaw, when CNN was becoming a big deal, and, you know, he was on location there in Baghdad when him and Arnett were next to one another when they were dropping those bombs. And 1990, 91, January, when we attacked Baghdad in Iraq.
Yes, the first war that was really televised.
Yes,
we watched
it
on
was.
CNN.
Yes,
I was in college of an age where that made me very nervous. And remember walking into a stats test the next day and a teacher who had military experience telling all of us, you're not going to get drafted. There's not going to be a draft. Simmer down. But we're not going to have a test today because we're going to talk about this.
My gosh, imagine what I had to grow up with, seeing everything on Twitter, social media.
Yeah, but when you could see and hear the bombing live on television, I mean, they had covered the wars pretty extensively previously, but never quite like that.
No doubt. No doubt at all.
He also he had made headlines earlier that he did the debate between Bush and Dukakis, and Dukakis was anti the death penalty. And the very first question of the debate, Bernard Shaw said, Governor Dukakis, and he lays out a scenario where his wife is brutally raped and killed. Okay. And are you still not against the death penalty? And Dukakis answered very robotically. And I mean, it was a harsh question. First question, the debate is underway. Governor Dukakis, boom. And Dukakis answered it very robotically. All right. And people didn't focus on the question. They focused on the answer. And it cost him, the debate, the polls were kind of close going into that debate. And boom, very first question, Bernard Shaw. It was over for Dukakis. So passed away yesterday at 82.
Football tonight, David and I both taking the Bills. Both would lay the points.
Only 2.5.
Right.
I would go over, though. 52. I'd go over.
I hope so. Enjoy the game. It's a Football Friday tomorrow right here on the Florida Sports Network. Whoop. Miller and Moulton here for the Clutch Vodka Play of the Day.
Mark, remember Nick Charles, Fred Hickman, the CNN Play of the Day?
Yeah, CNN did a nightly sports